One more night, I wanna be with you, where I wanna hold you tight. It feels so right tonight. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Vivi only update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say, where's Dashi? Where is Dashi? At some point, I'll probably have a co-host up here. It will be the Sweet Pea. It will be the Monkey. It'll be the Leo. Whoever you guys wish. Mr. Pags, aka Henry Pagliuca, is coming right up. He is just getting ready. So I'm going to go to comments right now. $1 million question is, do I buy OMI or Vivi NFTs? So here's the thing, Wes. I obviously more bullish on OMI long term, but I do believe that short term these NFTs will go higher than OMI. At least again short term. So if you wanted to play that game, like if I were to have an extra $200,000, 120 would go to taxes, and then the other 80 grand, I'd probably put split 40K into the NFTs, and I would get a Walt, I would get a Secret Rare Spider-Man, and that would probably be what I could get. But I would, as far as comics, I would get an Amazing Spider-Man, I would get a Marvel Comics #1, I'd get Fantastic Four #1. Like all of these can just go absolutely crazy and bananas. Whereas OMI obviously will at some point, but I just made a video saying, hey, here's why $100 is possible. And I want to get Henry Pagliuca, his voice on that as well. And again, for those of you that missed it, the reasons behind it is that, okay, well, if we stay, because there's a bunch of people, ask anyone that you want, ask any master fudster, hey, what do you think OMI will be next year? Oh yeah, we're probably not even get over a cent next year. So if you take those fudsters reviews and we're going to be maybe 5 cents in 5 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. But if you take their word for it and you say, okay, well, we're going to stay down here for a long time because a lot of people are putting so much stock in the buybacks, which is absolutely ridiculous. The buybacks would have done this much to the token, and I would much rather them take that money and use it towards expansion, use it towards licenses, use it towards the Viviverse, whatever they need. And let's just say if they didn't do that, if they just said that, hey, yeah, there was no utility for the token, even though Reese had said full utility for the token will be rolled out within 1 year, which in my opinion includes land, we're obviously going to go up to several cents at some point within the next year. But that being said, if that were to happen, if we were to get the next 2 exchanges, because he said 4 exchanges within the next 12 months. Well, he said 4 to 5, but let's say conservative, we're at 4. They could go and do one exchange. That's one exchange every 3 months, and figure half of the exchanges that we were to get, they're probably going to be small. Let's say they're both like Bitmark, where we had a 20% pump at the announcement, and then as soon as, like yesterday, it happens to go down, we go right back down to where we were. You know, in order for us to get to $100 OMI at some point, we would have to burn, in this math, we would have to be at about 100 billion OMI in circulating supply. So we'd have to burn 212 billion OMI. And then we'd also have to have a $10 trillion market cap. Now, most probable, I would say a $2 trillion market cap by 2030, because that's relatively normal. Most cryptos of the top 10 will have a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. I mean, heck, full self-driving by itself will be a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. But anyway, I digress. If we went crazy, if we were $10 trillion behind Ethereum, that would be a $10 trillion market cap. And if we had 100 billion OMI in the circulating supply, well, in order to get to that $10 trillion market cap, we'd be at $100 per OMI. Is that probable? Not really. I mean, I think there's a 1 to 2% chance that happens, because everything, we have to stay here for so long. We have to burn so much OMI from the circulating supply. And yeah, like I said, that's about it. That being said, we did have a bunch of really cool things happen today. We raised close to like $1 million, I think, for Ukraine, for the Ukraine relief effort, where Ron English had done all the designs for it. It was great. And I was really bullish on the flowers. I still am. I still want to actually get one. I probably could if I really needed to, but I'm going to save my gems for tomorrow. Because tomorrow I'm going to try to have Stephanie Salentano on. She is a former Disney employee. To be able to tell us a lot about the characters and which ones are most popular, which ones we think will do the best. Justin Apple Pie, that has been on, Justin Pierce has been on many times. He's had a horrible tragedy. His house burned down like a few weeks ago, so he probably won't be on. I don't think he has the equipment for it right now. But Definitely Selling Town will definitely have that. Oh, hey, look at that, Mr. Pag. And here we go. What's got that friend? What's going on?
What's going on?
How you doing? Are you cosplaying as a Russian today with your Adidas tracksuit on?
Well, this is Italian, Juventus. I apologize, but it is European nonetheless. I mean, I'm not that. We can argue where Ukraine is in that sense, but nonetheless, what's up, man? I got. What are you drinking?
Some Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey.
Okay, and I got a little.
What do you got? Red Bull, nice. It gives you wings.
Wait, and
Jesus! Oh my God! I remember one day I was in the military when this happened. It was like after an entire 12.5-hour shift of just shoveling snow. It was like 2014. We had this huge snowstorm, and not only was I doing normal operations, but I had to shovel a lot of snow before the operations were happening. And then after the operations were done, I had to shovel snow again. And to give you a quick little view of what the operations looked like, this is one of the first things I posted on Instagram. It was in the snowstorm. There's me and my friend McAllister in the background.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me in the front. That's McAllister in the background.
Damn, you look like G.I. Joe, man.
Yeah,
the NFT statue of that right there, bro. I'll buy.
Yeah, the reflective belts are so the terrorists don't get us. But
where are you coming off of? What plane? From where?
That was a C-17 out of McCord. McCord's over in Washington, and it was what we were just doing. We were just putting passengers on there. We had to check to make sure that everything was good. All the crew had the manifest and whatever. I don't know if they even took off or not that day. I forget. But afterwards, we had to consistently shovel snow to make sure all the planes were de-iced. We had to make sure that the runways were clear. It was ridiculous. So afterwards, I had a box of Cheez-Its that was like Tabasco sauce flavored Cheez-Its. And then I had the most ridiculous heartburn ever from the Cheez-Its. And I was on the couch in the day room thinking like, this is it. I'm going to die. I was like those Bayer commercials.
Like Fred and Son. Elizabeth.
So yeah, that was that. But I'm a little saucy right now because me and Danielle ordered Chinese food 1 hour and 40 minutes ago, and we have not gotten it yet because
you know what that means?
What?
Oh, it went to another apartment, and they're just like, yeah, yeah, I got it. Come here.
That might be because we called like 40 minutes ago and said like, hey, we're just checking up on our stuff because it was like 50 minutes since we called, and like, yeah, it just went out. And then we called again like 10 minutes ago and like, hey, we're just checking on our stuff. Yeah, it'll be ready in 15 minutes. Or like,
yeah, I have there's a lot of memories I had. I went to Rutgers in New Brunswick,
yeah,
and we obviously living off campus. Was an experience. We had a great time, but there was many times, like, because we lived in houses, actual homes, and we all had an apartment or a room in the apartment, and there were times where other houses maybe a number off, one of they ordered, and like we would get would come like pizzas, yeah, like we would pay for it and just bring the food in. And then we'd get a call from one of our boys. Yo, what's up, man? Did you get a pot? Nah, man, we're starving. We're looking to order something just to get them off our back. We're over there chowing, wake and bake and stuff. But hold on one sec. New often your rewatch stream. I joke. So my daughter just passed me a note here.
Okay.
Because that I follow all content creators, different Vivi and other streams. She put tell them because of how often I rewatch or watch your streams. That she jokes sometimes and says, "Oh, Randy." She jokes and says, "Oh, Randy came over. Did he come over last night to hang out?" Because were you guys? It's like a watch.
Be out in 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, sorry.
Food's here. Food's here.
Yeah, the food's here. Danielle's getting it. She's getting it. All right. So you were saying that you rewatch some of the stuff.
I'm saying I'm watching the stream. She hears your voice and stuff. So she's like, "Oh, what? Randy come over again tonight?" Like joking, like because and then I'll fall asleep and like it'll be like just like the repetitiveness. But I go to Rutgers, New Brunswick right now. That's pretty cool. Fist of Yang.
Oh, I'm not even up there yet. I'm still like in the
crazy
comments
Dino.
before. I'm still in the comments here before we got here, but yeah. So we gotta.
So what are we talking about, bro? There's so much. Oh my god, man, dude.
Okay, did you see that interview with Reese and Akil Patterson, aka Black? Okay, so you did see that with Black Excellence. What was your biggest takeaway from that?
Bro, look, listen, we speculate all the time. What we do, because that's what we have to do. I mean, I'm like with the, it's 100% guaranteed. We got the P, I'm playing around, I'm always doing stuff.
May 4th, right? That's the date.
That's our wager.
Yeah.
But look, I don't want to. I don't even want to get into the convo because I love Reese and don't get me wrong. For me, you can elaborate. For me, it's not even about that. I have a lot of I have my own belief. In other words, look, what I did when it came to sending the OMI over to the app. Remember that? Remember when I said and I sent over a ton at the time? It was like maybe it was a little over 100K worth. Now it might only be like 65K worth, or so 70K worth. So I'm just making a point that we're in this for the longevity. We don't care if it goes down to 3 zeros and an 8. Or we care, but all it means is for us is just liquidating to get more liquidating something to buy more, or just however we get money to re-enter into DCA. You know what I'm saying? So
agreed. That's a big part of how, I don't know if you saw my video I did yesterday. It's a big part of how it is possible to get $100 OMI. We have to burn so much from the circulating supply, and we have to get down in order for that to happen, which I don't think it will, but there's a chance, thanks, babe, that it gets down to 3 zeros, 0.0004, whatever it is.
Right.
And we go from burning $1 billion a week to 10 billion per week. That's nuts.
And you know what? This is the argument that I always made with you. We've always discussed, listen, everybody cares about their money. Everybody cares. Oh, they always want to reach the 1 million. Who's got 2 million? There's a ton of people that got 2 or 3 million OMI. That's like, that's a huge bucket right there of people. They're in that range. There's not a lot of people that have like 100, 200,000 because it's easy to get that. But there's not a lot of people that have over 10 or 20 million. So there's like a nice little Goldilocks zone. That's where the majority of a lot of the OMI holders are, which is okay. I'm just making a point that, we don't have, it's all math, right? These are all the model. You could put any kind of model here. You could put any kind of model in front of any professor and sit here and try to work it out. But as long as Vivi has the momentum to continually do their drops, whether they're collectibles or comics or however it goes, pre-Vivi verse, as we're going, as long as we are selling out in fractions of milliseconds, we're going to be burning everything that is sold. Everything on the market is going to be continually sold. It doesn't matter. So where the price is in the metric of the range, it's only more beneficial the cheaper we are. Everybody's going to say, oh my God, it's 3.7, it's 3.5. Oh my God, it's at 2.8. Oh my God. Holy crap. It's, we're back in the 3, we're under 1/10 of a penny.
That'd be amazing.
Realize that's just a value. It's a representation of the value. And that's all it is. But the fact of the tokenomics of how this stuff burns and where it's burning from, those are other things that are all relative to the sales of the comics and collectibles, the NFTs. And as long as we're selling out, it's like Vivi could care less. Don't worry about what OMI's price is. But if you can imagine a 30 and a 1, that's 1/100th, 1/1000th of a penny. My wife, hey guys, she's in Italy right now. She's in
Where's she at?
Riccione, Italy, which is Rimini, outside of Rimini, which is on the east coast of Italy, northeast coast, at an enormous trade show for bakeries and equipment for bakeries, desserts, food, or any kind of machines and stuff. And it's enormous. They're out there. Her and her brothers are out there. They have a crazy oven invention. It's outrageous.
Nice.
Yeah. And so it's her birthday today too. My God, man, happy birthday, babe. Love you. I mean,
happy birthday to her.
Yeah, I mean, she's
well, that was today because where she's at, it's after midnight in Italy. It is. Right?
Yeah, it's actually 2:15 in the morning. Actually, so what I'm saying is it doesn't matter really how low it goes because it's only a matter of that'll only calculate how much we're burning. It doesn't do nothing else.
Yeah,
it does nothing else. We just calculate how much we're burning. That's the model and that's the formula. Nothing else matters. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It also opens up an opportunity for people to come in and spend, instead of 5,000 to get $1 million, 500 to get $1 million. If it's 3 zeros and a 5, you know what I mean? Like, so just think about it. I mean, me and you, we'll go to $1 billion, bro. We'll go to $1 billion, like no problem.
That'd be great. I would have to.
5. My quarter of $1 billion goal, I guess you could say, or what I was working for, will be just like 25 million. In the scope of, so it's it's tough to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars like me and you have. It's tough to do that. It's tough for people to lose 5,000 if they got like an 8,000 investment. It's tough for people that lose 20,000 when they got like a 30,000 investment. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not gonna lie. And it's also more tough because they might have done that with the OMI and then put maybe 25 or 50% of that amount in the NFTs that they can't even liquidate now.
Yeah.
Or if they do, they're at such a significant loss. It's like kind of
they have to take a hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a weird game right now. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The lower we go, the more we burn. And there she is. Hey, baby, what's up? I just feel that I'm not sugarcoating anything because it's a disaster. But for us to have the freedom and humbleness and the likeliness and the respect and the opportunity of doing what we're doing right now, being able to communicate with so many people, with me and you talking to each other, and there's people, we're financing drops to donate to people who don't even know where their families are. Yeah. There's kids that are in shelters right now with their family. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, dude, what are people worried about? What OMI's price is? Like, really, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, get real. You know what I mean?
And here's one thing that I really like to say to people is that a lot of people like to throw around the fact because they're short term. They can't see the forest for the trees are in the way, and
all day.
They say that, hey, they say I've been invested for a year and my investment is worth half of what it was last year. I was like, okay, well, yes, you're right. Your investment currently is, if you decide to lock in your losses, is half of what it was last year. But before you, like kind of like how Optimus Prime goes to his that guy in the military, says, before we go to your president, let me ask him this. what if we leave and you're wrong? What if you decide to liquidate right now and you're wrong about OMI and you think it'll never go up? Like, do you think OMI right now, do you think the OMI company is worth half of what it was last year when we didn't have Marvel, when we didn't have Disney, we didn't have the United States Postal Service? Like, if you believe
how about we didn't have 80% more participants?
Yeah,
That's a huge number, that 80%.
Yeah, we had a couple 100,000 people 1 year ago. Like maybe we had a couple 100,000 people, and a lot of people were.
We didn't.
Yeah.
This time, this March of 2021, we didn't have 100. We weren't even at 50.
Oh, really? We were that low?
Yeah, we were at in May. I think they were talking like we had like 25, and we were looking to. They were hoping for something like 75,000 by the end of the year, because they were looking to like 3x it, and that was around that was around Memorial Day weekend. So think about that. A year ago, like I said, we're maybe think about it could be like we're like 90. We could be like 95%, more people. You know, I mean not 95%. I'm saying we have 95% less.
Yeah, and I mean I would, if I wanted to, like, I learned this from Ben Shapiro, saying like if you can argue your opponent's side better than they can, then you're in a good position. I could make a video right now telling people to sell their OMI and all the reasons why, because I've looked at everything, all the reasons why you should, and then all the counters to that on why you shouldn't. And on a lot of, I could make a video saying like, yeah, I bought in January some of these NFTs and they've lost like 60%. It's like, okay, but zoom out a couple of months after that, and like Disney NFTs didn't exist 6 months ago. They were here in November. They were here at DesignerCon, and that was a big turning point for us.
Listen, I and I'm not interrupting. Saying what you were just saying with respect to look, you're right in the sense where you're not going to try to convince people. Like, this isn't about convincing. You know what I mean? We're just sharing information. And people have to make their own determination. And obviously, we come from different schools of thought, obviously. And there's a lot of people out there that have they have their own gauge into risk management, say, there's people who will lose 80% and then they're like, you know what? I'll take my 20%. I'll take the loss and I could care less. Yeah. There's some people, like, we're built different. Obviously we're going down with the ship. It's either it's over and it's smooth sailing on whatever Dubai island and that we want, or we go back to work and on a hardcore day-to-day basis on whatever we have to do to pay bills, and that's how we're wired. So it's really no consequence, but it's calculated risk, bro. And there's a lot of things that we do to help out that situation, and like whether it's add to our holdings in DCAing, whether it's maybe taking stuff a little bit off the market and putting in into Tether and hoping for a lower number. We all do that stuff. I mean, this is just the way it is. I mean, it's not like we don't have no crystal ball. We do look at it from hindsight though, and at the same time, we try to I want you to elaborate on Reese's interview, because that just go over it.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that one of the biggest takeaways that I took from that is or before I get to that, there's so many people that are asking me, like Ahmed Najat, about buybacks and how do you make that connection for now. Is that for me and a lot of other people that are long-term investors think that, let's just put it to Tesla for a second. We are happy that Tesla, when I was a Tesla investor, did not put any money into marketing. Same as Vivi. They don't have to market right now. You were saying before that we're outselling every single thing that we make in milliseconds, and we do that with zero marketing. So I would much rather Vivi take money that other companies would put towards marketing as other companies would put towards, whatever we're talking about. And they're putting it toward like buybacks, and they're not doing that, and they're putting that towards something else. For me, that's great. I think if you are putting money towards marketing, that is how many people listen to radio? How many people have watch TV anymore? A lot of people that they have Netflix, they have Hulu, and if there is a commercial, they're on their phone, they're going to the bathroom, they're getting a drink, they're doing whatever. So when Reese said that when we're taking their funds, because that was one of the questions that was asked, what are they doing with the funds? And he had a kind of a generic response. He said, we're expanding. When Akil said, expand on that.
It wasn't generic. It was just general.
Yeah, and when he says expand on that, it's so we're paying for, the licensor fees. We're paying for the Google and Apple 30% fees. We're paying for OMI and Vivi employees. We're paying for the Viviverse. We're paying for, expansion, this and that. They just hired a new guy.
Development.
Yes, and the latest was the new guy that their whole job was to get on exchanges. But my big takeaway was them saying, we're paying for Vivi and OMI employees, and they're paying for the Viviverse. And for me, that either suggests or confirms that the 100 or so people that are working for Vivi and OMI are not developing the Viviverse, and they have entrusted that to a third party that has experience with that, and they're paying for that. And that is so important because, Sandbox took 8 years to make, and they had 100 employees. Well, if we had 100 employees and we're making that, it might take us that long as well.
D-Land too, bro. They were four years.
But we're going in and most likely paying for another company to do that. And if that's the case, then they can develop that much quicker. Maybe we're hiring a company
it'll streamline it, bro. It won't even be an issue. And there's a lot more infrastructure set up already, so you can tie things together a lot easier. Back when 3 years ago was a different space.
Yeah.
3 years fast forward now, and we're in the heart of this whole built up of metaverse, Vivi, Viviverse, but naturally metaverse these type of technologies.
Yeah. And what took other people months, or what took other people years, could take us months. And where they're saying there's no buybacks now, now the burn means nothing. So listen, would you rather us have 300 billion in the reserve wallet, or would you rather us have 175 billion in the burn wallet? I would much rather have us have not as much in the reserve wallet. And I understand what they're saying. We would really want to burn for the circulating supply, and we will. And he said that full OMI utility should be rolled out within the next 4 quarters, in the next 12 months. So I'd much rather them take that money, that the 10% of their profits that would have gone to the buybacks, which would not have had a big significant impact on the token. And I would much rather them use that to mainline the Viviverse, or to be able to take, hey, this license that we've had for 2 to 3 years, let's extend it for another 4 years. I'd much rather them do that. So I think they're being
wait, real quick, and to interject, the actual the reality is look what you just said. Expectations, even if they don't meet them, but they're talking maybe four quarters. Just realize where we are. Put OMI and Vivi, put them on a timeline. Do you know of any company or pair of obviously crypto and retail companies in 2 years is going to, because we're only 1 year, because they're taking another 1 more year until things like that happen. Can you imagine what things like that what'll happen if that happens? And then guess what? On a timeline, that's only in year number 2. Have you ever heard of anything people, what do they want to become? Billionaires in 2 years? This, you know what I'm trying to say? But
so you
could become a millionaire in 2 years, believe it or not. And no one, look, I don't want to look, I know a lot of people that I get hit up a lot of, there's people that ask me advice and stuff, and and I always have to be general because I don't want to be held to, being like that. He said, but there's a lot of innocent, people that don't have enough information, and they just, they're just going on their day to day, and they have hopes and dreams, but in the back of their head, they're saying, is tomorrow going to be the day we hockey stick and I become that, I win the lottery? And I don't want to be the guy to say you're wrong. That's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. However, if you have one good more year, like a good one, but it's going to be a good one. Can you imagine what's going to be like next year and at this time next year? I can't tell you last year in March and saying 1 year from now it's going to be, oh my God, because guess what? The price isn't, oh my God, from what it was 1 year ago. Mm-hmm. The NFTs are, oh my God, in a sense of obviously the quantity because there's so many drops. But we still have comics and we still have collectibles. All is expanded was just the nature of the variety of them, but nothing's really changed. If you think about it, in fact, we haven't had any more major Spider-Mans. We haven't had any Batmans. We haven't had Superman, except the one. We haven't had any more like Marvel comic Marvels. Like that was just that one. Fantastic Four, we're spitting them out, but we haven't gotten like the heat. No Amazing Fantasy, no Action Comic, no, I'm just making a point. There's still a lot of grails. X-Men 1, Daredevil. I'm just making a point that we've come a far way. But if then the next year, if we have one more year from now till next year to like kind of like 86, all that speculation, it's going to be a huge difference than what it is right now. And it'll be a huge difference when it comes to the tokenomics and where we are with respect to what is our circulating, what is our reserve, what's coming out, and how much is coming out. Because this is all that matters. People just care. Like they care about certain things. They don't care about nothing else. But it's all the nothing else that really it really is the stuff that's holding the water right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, agreed. And a lot of people are really not paying attention to the burns. Like today, we burned well over 300 million OMI. We didn't have a ton go into the app. We had, I think, less than 1 million, at least as far as Puddin' Cheeks' document had put on. But it was, like a little less than 900,000 as of right now. That could be more for, we have a few hours left. But when, Reese says that
you're counting secondary and everything.
Yes. So what had happened was that there was about $856,000 that went into the app today, and 1.2 billion gems had been spent. So about 309 million had been burned, at least as of the last couple of minutes. That will probably change over the next couple hours.
Right. Not much, but yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of other things that have been going on, or at least in the future, is that when we have those types of gains, and we're doing this right now at 1 billion OMI per week on average, and that's with the price the way it is. If we continue to do this, or if OMI goes down, like God forbid the Russia-Ukraine conflict gets worse, if we decrease by half, suddenly we're not doing 1 billion OMI burn per week. We're doing 2 billion OMI per week. And that's if the amount of people that are in stay the same. The amount of money that goes in.
Right. And guess what number that is? That's 002.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Or 00, just say 4, even though it's a little less. That's 002.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in this like framework of that kind of like price, if we get like a heavy hit, like Amazing Fantasy 15, like we get a heavy, like NFT. Can you imagine what kind of gem squeeze that'll be?
I think tomorrow we'll have a big one.
No, I'm saying if we get like the heavy, like a crazy one, and it catches everybody's pants down.
Yeah.
And we're at 002. We're talking what kind of burn?
So we'll do 1 billion a day. If we get like a Star Wars, like on, let's say in May, I think in May we're having a Obi-Wan Kenobi, that series drops on Disney Plus. If we have an Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Maul, or like Darth Vader NFT drop for Obi-Wan Kenobi, that will, and we're at 0.002 or even less if this Ukraine conflict gets worse. That would be well over 1 billion OMI for one day. In one day.
No, because that's a Spider-Man type drop. Listen, look, let's just not talking about politics. Just talk about just the current situation. There's a lot of moving parts right now. Now, I'm not getting into conspiracy, and I'm not getting into politics. I'm just getting into the reality of what might not be reality, which is when you turn the news on and the narratives that we're being told for the reason why we're being told them. Those are narratives. That's not the reality. But that's the reality that we have to live by and we have to go by, because you know why? That's what the markets go by. And that's what the market sentiment goes by, and that's what investors go by. So just going off of the narrative, they're talking about different things happening that may pull other countries into this. And I want everyone to listen, because this is very serious. If we get more pawns into this chess game, it's going to create problems that we've never seen before, but it's going to hit home here, because normally things that happen, they're just yeah, it's their war, yeah, it's their conflict, but NATO's not their conflict. NATO's our conflict.
Yeah.
And when you start getting countries that are kind of NATO, but kind of like tied to the hip to China or tied to the hip to Russia or the Middle East, now those particular countries have to, they're like, shit, we're NATO, but we got these guys in our back pocket that have us leveraged. What do we do? And this is where the narrative that gets brought out for a sheep to listen to, have everybody going on their phones, just limits selling the shit out of everything, and it just causes a dramatic tsunami, and it starts to cascade. And this is across all markets. This isn't like, oh, well, you know, OMI's kind of decoupled from Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, OMI goes down. When Bitcoin goes down, OMI goes up. And you could see inversions of that in chart analysis. Yes, in the past. However, unfortunately, we weren't at war when that was happening. And we didn't have a lot of stuff happening. And Bitcoin was very, short frenzy, because you had a lot of guys that took on a lot of profits. They were like, you know what? They looking at the charts, are saying, it's a little bullish. We're going to start shorting. And you know what happened? That was causing that to short. At the same time, that's just shorting in bits in the alts. It wasn't really affecting OMI, because that's where you seen decoupling. But then what happened was OMI would start to bubble, and now the OMI holders would be, oh, you know what? We're bullish. And now it just happened to be a timing where shorts obviously covered, and now it's time to, and a lot of accounts were leveraged because of a lot of accounts were liquidated because of leveraged accounts, because a heavy leveraging it caused liquidity. So what happened? Bitcoin went back up, and at that point, OMI started coming down from those profits. So that's where the inversion was coming from. However, we're not in that situation right now, and I don't want to talk about it, because there's people that are on my screen that I don't want to say, because they're the ones that I'm in talks directly with. They have absolutely fantastic. They have years of experience on me and in the game. They know chart analysis, technical analysis. They know TA are the best, and it goes with the stock market too. It's not just like crypto TA. They're saying right now that Bitcoin could fall off a cliff and it'll see 14K. No one will know where the hell it came from.
That would be.
I'm dead serious, bro. This is like real stuff, and I'm not scaring people. I'm telling you the reality.
So, do you think that 14K is really possible with now, as opposed to 2018? 2018, you didn't have Tesla or MicroStrategy or Square or Twitter into Bitcoin. Now you have a lot of big companies that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars getting into it. Why?
It's all irrelevant, because we have the biggest countries in the world with nukes going around, and the narrative is in place, and we never had that before, and we didn't have COVID before. We didn't have anything before.
True.
And we're at the highest in history when it comes to our actual national debt and our inflation rate, and the Fed's just going to pop rates up again.
Yeah. The CPI came out, I think, on Thursday, the Consumer Price Index, and that was higher than anyone had expected.
I'm telling you, they're going to raise rates. We're going to go 4.5, easy, maybe 5. And
that much?
Yeah, we're at 4.5, bro. The right now rates are 4.14 mortgage rate. Rate.
Okay. All right. Because I know interest rates with the Fed were pretty close to, or I don't know, it's just mortgage rates. What, as someone in real estate, what would that do to the real estate market if rates go from 4?
Two things are going to happen.
Yeah.
two things are going to happen. It's going to be simultaneous. You want to hit that group, that chat? I'm sorry, man. I know. I don't
Yeah, no, that's good. Arnie Mods, great chat with Pags. The future for long-term OMI holders is bright and brighter. Burn, baby, burn. Now, I do want to address that real quick, is that I do agree. And the reason that I agree with that is because I'm so bullish on Disney, Marvel, DC, and that those companies will survive, and they will probably ensure that Vivi survive. It wouldn't look good on them if their first venture into Web3, into NFTs failed. So they would probably do something to try to prop it up if it ever got that bad, which I don't think it would. But that's why I am very bullish. The lower we go, the more we burn, the better we are long term. That's just my opinion. What about you?
Well, I mean, long term could still be only like a year and a half, like 18 months. That could be long term to some people. We're talking maybe 3 years from now into another cycle, maybe even a Bitcoin cycle. Trust me, bro. We're don't worry about it. We're insulated. We could go. Listen, you know how I am, bro. I just told you we'll go to. I'll have $1 billion. I mean, I don't know. You too. We'll have $1 billion OMI, bro. Going into. I don't care. We could go as low as we can because I'm still a real estate agent. I still do what I have to do. I still earn money, and you have a lot of you have resources. You have resources that you can get back, and you can be liquid as well. And what'll happen is you'll just continually just add to the fire, and you know, $1,000 goes a long way when it's obviously where $100 went. Now where 1,000 could go now, $100 can go just as far. And you know, I got 22 million. I'm thinking about selling around 8 million, sitting on the side in the event we go to 002. Convince me I shouldn't. Vivi Monster, listen, I'll convince you shouldn't if you do me some trades, because you have such awesome items that I actually want from you, because you're always like a tail ahead or a tail behind me in some mint numbers, and you got to trade me, bro. You got it. Don't worry about money, bro. Let's just trade. There's things that I got that you want. There's things you want I got. You know what I mean, or vice versa. But honestly, if you think about selling a little bit, obviously it's a little bit more than a third of what you have to sit on the side for that event. Just flip a coin and do it. I mean, it's one or the other, because, you know, I mean, do you think we're going to go up to we think we're going to go to 005, 006 before we go to 002? If that answer is no, sell 8 million yesterday. That's it.
I mean, it's really hard because you have these contingencies. Like, we just got Bitmart out of nowhere. Now, we were supposed to get Bitmart last May, and the reason we got it now is because, you know, we're officially converted over the Ethereum blockchain. Now, does Bitmart going and listing us, does that mean that we're completely ready to go and get these other ones? Or
listen,
does it?
I know what you're saying. Look, you have to realize too, you know what it is? When we say exchanges, people don't realize exchanges by definition. They don't realize where they are geographically in the world. And so when we're dealing with what we're dealing with right now with these with this conflict and stuff, you know, there's a lot of red tape without conflict. When you add conflict to it, and you're starting to hear sanction here and sanction there. People don't know what sanctions are. People don't realize the implication of a sanction from a country to country or outside. It's pretty serious, and it's always a financial sanction. It's like always to hit them where they feel it hurts. The problem is financial is exchanges, and when you're dealing with crypto exchanges, stock market exchanges, it goes hand in hand. And when a country sanctions another country, that takes them out of the woodwork. Those might be potential exchanges that were already in the queue for Vivi. Yeah. So it has a significant impact, and can have a significant impact of the reason why we haven't gotten these other notices. It may be like, hold up, Vivi, we were just going to list you, but we got some sanctions maybe in the queue. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't want to list you, and then we're loading up in our inventory, whatever we have to do, and then we got to retract, and then we got to come back. And what do we do? Listen, it's just like an investor. A listing is just like investing.
Yeah.
Are you going to go and invest in something right now outside that you don't have to? You don't have no money in it right now. Are you going to go and do it? You're going to hold up, wait. There's people looking to sell OMI. Get out of OMI. Get out of Bitcoin. Get out of top tier coins and stocks too. Why? Because of that reason. And honestly, I know it's not like it's not like Russia or China are going to say we're sanctioning USA. We're not getting sanctioned, but sanctions that are getting imposed on these other countries may have a direct impact on the exchanges that might be ones that Vivi is applying or has been already in line to get listed on. So I know there's a lot of stuff happening. I just know that right. There is like there's a massive. They already have money that's getting allocated to it. There's a hard push going into the development of obviously Viviverse. I mean, obviously re-spread it out, and where money's going, and everybody just looks at it like, oh, they're not buying back. Really? I remember in the summer there was never a talk about buyback. Yeah. That came into the conversation, and now that it's going back out of the conversation, it's out of the conversation. But it was never really there. It wasn't back in the summer. We weren't talking about buybacks. You know what we're talking about? Holy shit! You see that Superman drop? Holy shit! You see that? You see what I'm saying? Like we're getting like narratives sent to us, and we got everybody. You know what the problem is? Communication's great. It's absolutely fantastic. It's changed the world. But on the other side, it's counterproductive to the movement because you have too much information. You have too many options, and unfortunately, sometimes the bad part of you is not really in your best interest. You know what I'm saying? Or the good part of you might not be in the best interest.
So it depends on how long you plan to hold for. I mean, it's really nice, especially for short-term people, if we get listed on a Coinbase or a Binance or a KuCoin or a Kraken, and we go to all-time highs. We go to 1.5 or 2 cents, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at how much money I made!" But long term, it would take us that much longer to get to our goals of $1 and multiple dollars and all that. But a lot of people they don't know that delayed gratification. What you were talking about before, where we're okay if OMI goes down because we've been in finance for long enough where we've experienced a lot of deep declines. We've experienced it in 2020 with the pandemic. We did that in 2008 with the housing market. We've gone through a couple of Bitcoin cycles like that, where we know what's going to happen. We know everything's going to, regardless of what happens, it's going to recover. It's going to go back up. Could it go back down from here? Yeah, absolutely. And some of us are even expecting to. Like I don't know about you, but for me, like growing up in definitely not a rich place, part of me almost expects to be poor again, and that's why I live the way I do, and that's why I'm very frugal.
But being frugal has that's irrelevant. There's people who I grew up with that were in high school. That's life, bro. You're born. Yeah. That's not the way you're born is the way you grow up. A lot of time. I mean, there's people I grew up with. They used to throw money around all kinds of crazy. They got in situations now. Now they're frugal. Or there's kids that were very tight when we were in high school. They were like, well, like, a little cheap and shit. We go out. It's like, they would like, we're at the diner. They would go to the bathroom and like, we'd be like, waiting to split the check and they're in the bathroom and shit. We're like, fuck it. Come on. Let's just throw it in. Cause we're like assholes sitting at the table doing nothing, waiting for that guy. I'm not going to say names, but they know who they are. And now they throw money around like it doesn't matter. Like we're on like little Borgata and shit. Like we're in like Homestead eating. They're like, don't worry about it. Give him a $50 tip. That's like, wow, you okay? That was the guy that used to go in the bathroom. So I mean, you don't have to. Please, the way you are, the way I am, the way people are, how they are, that doesn't matter, bro. We just gotta, we all gotta just bear down, bunker down, hope for the best, and just keep, being smart. I mean, look, I put about at the time, I think it was about maybe between 16 and 19% of my entire OMI holdings into the Vivi app when we put in.
Yeah.
And naturally, I've gotten more now. I cracked back over 100 mil, and but I still got, it's like 14 mil in there almost, and it's just sitting in there. But I'm not like crying. I don't care. I just honestly, I don't even know. To be honest with you, Rand, I didn't even know why. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know why I put it in. I had no destination as to the real true reason why I put it in. I just put it in to put it in. I was like, you know what? To me, like I felt like it was like when you got like a lot of money, just like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna throw this is like just blanket money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I have mine in there for just because on the off chance that we got OMI to NFT early, or we can stake, or if we got OMI to land early. And it's like, okay, I would much rather have.
I knew that wasn't coming, though. I knew that wasn't coming. I knew that wasn't happening quick. I'm expecting September, October, December. I'm expecting that time period around there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't care. And if it comes in the summer, that's even great. I could care less. Whatever.
Yeah.
I told you I had specifically 100K set aside for that, and that's what I wanted to do. There's like, what I wish. There's a couple of things that, and I was in an AMA. Oh, another thing too. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, Alex not here no more." I mean, not Alex.
Trevor.
Trevor. Oh, would he jump ship? Why would he leave? People hit me up, Henry. You know what that means? You know what that means? He's an inside guy. He's a guy putting shit on paper, and if he's leaving, he's got to know more about than why. This is going to be cascading. The other people are going to leave. Whatever Reese leaves, then we're really done.
I've had that question also.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how the fuck? Like, bro, people have to make determination. Listen, look, it's just like guys get traded. You know what I mean? You're like, well, how can he leave the Yankees? How can he leave? They just won the World Series. He just won the NBA title. How's he going to another? Bro, it's called money. It's called future. It's called financial freedom. It's called, this is the decision that they want to make for themselves.
Yeah.
They make moves. It's not like they had an opinion on Vivi. First of all, Vivi's not guaranteed, number one. Number two, maybe his job title or what he's doing with this other company is more in line with what he really wants to do and maybe what he wants to get into. People change careers.
Music and NFTs.
It's not like they're changing job because of a better opportunity because they think Vivi was garbage. It's more in line with maybe what they feel more happier, doing. I mean, it's crazy. I always crazy shit. I'm like, I'm saying to myself,
I'm actually very bullish on that fact because a lot of people have asked me about it, and I've heard through the grapevine that both him and Tokenomics, they kind of left things very amicably, and they all wish each other the best. And when you have someone that goes into, I think it's NFT Tomorrow or Neverland or whatever it's called, and has 2.3 million followers on Twitter, and most likely at least a couple of % of people are going to follow that pretty closely and say, oh, there's this new person, Trevor, on here. Let's go to his LinkedIn. Oh, his most recent job was Vivi. What's that about? And they check us out. That's good for the token. Now, I don't know about this rumor. I think there was a rumor that Disney would buy Vivi, and maybe they might in the future, like X amount of years from now, but I would not expect that anytime soon. Me and Dan
I said it since our first stream in September, bro. And I'll always pick that up because I was talking. It's just common, bro. I was talking about Disney drops and having Pluto and Goofy and Donald and Daisy. We had it because it's inevitable, and I believe that Vivi's going to be a publicly traded company and or an arm of Disney, like Marvel is to Disney. I think that Vivi's going to have to grow like Marvel grew. Maybe not in the first year or 2 years or 10 years. Who knows? But I believe it'll definitely be another arm under its umbrella. Absolutely, it deserves it. It makes total sense. Yeah. They got Pixar, bro. This is where the industry's going. And if you're gonna have your first leg into this space and you're putting it all in, it's not like it's not like you're spreading out. I don't want to say it's exclusive, but I don't see Disney NFTs anywhere else. It's just like what the hell is Pokemon, this multi-billion-dollar company, waiting for in the NFT space? Where's Pokeverse? Yeah. Why haven't we heard anything? What's going on? Don't you think that they want to jump into this? What are they waiting for? They want other competitors to come in and beat them to the punch? No way.
So there's this.
So what's that mean, bro?
So there's this one baby by Nintendo Not by Pokemon. The Pokemon company is a separate company from Nintendo.
Yeah, we got
But,
Nintendo too, though.
oh, I'm sure we do have them in some capacity. I'm positive, or at least some of their, like Link, Kirby, anyone who's on my arm, etc. But there's this one, I forget who it was by. There was an article, and one of the representatives of Nintendo, maybe he was lying, maybe he was just trying to. He has NDA. They was asked about NFTs, and he says like, "Oh, Nintendo company is all about fun, and when we have a when we have a reason to announce NFTs, or we think that NFTs can make Nintendo more fun, we will do that." And they basically said that they had no NFTs planned. And a lot of people said, like, see, bro, we don't have Pokemon. I was like, okay, well, they didn't say they were never planning on NFTs. They were clearly thinking about it, or the guy was under NDA. And the fact that for Pokemon, they don't answer to Nintendo. They take their marching orders from the Pokemon company or from Game Freak.
Niantic.
Disney buying 50 billion.
Niantic.
Yeah, Niantic. As soon as it happens, yeah. If Disney were to do that by 50 million OMI, that which is so nuts. As soon as it happens, the price would go up. Yeah, 50 billion OMI is so much. I don't know if they could, if they should do that. I mean, they would have to do that in stages. Like they can't just put a $250 million buy order. They'd have to wait until multiple exchanges happen, or they'd have to acquire.
No, that's not true. They can actually get that directly from the wallet. They can get a direct
from like the reserve wallet or the.
Yeah.
Would they do that from the reserve wallet?
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, just because the reserve wallet is never meant to go into circulation. I mean, I could picture that if they were like a year ago, the founders' wallets could be able to go in and they could sell that if they wanted to directly. But I feel like from the reserve wallet, that's not supposed to go into circulation. I mean, that'd be great for the burn. Be like, okay, this much was taken out of the burn wallet.
Because they would want that. That's because if they did, that would affect it, and that would in turn it would have effect on the price, not just from the news. I'm saying just in the long term run. Oh, future.
Yeah, same.
Baby, burn. This gonna burn.
Yeah, so I would liquidate as much as I could to try to get more stuff, but unfortunately, because I sold a lot of my stuff last year, I do have a huge tax bill this year, and I would have to be able to go and if OMI does get cut in half or further, there's not really much I could do because I do have to pay that tax bill. So maybe some NFTs for that. If NFTs stay the same and OMI's cut in half, then yeah, I would totally sell some NFTs for that. But with that, in that same breath, if NFTs were to stay the same and OMI were to 10x, I'd probably liquidate some of my OMI and go back into more NFTs. But I assume you would do something similar.
Well, NFTs don't take the drop that OMI does, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't ride, the tail. It's just that's my dude right there, bro.
God's Entry? Oh yeah. He's very good at TA, at technical analysis. Yeah, it's very good.
Listen, and I'm telling you right now, there's a belief, let's say, like, you know what it is? This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing everybody like, oh my God, they got these Spider-Man secret rares, they got Waltz and shit. And I'm not gonna lie, sold my Walt 45, make it official. I did.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the whole deal and your thought process behind that.
I'll get that 1 second though, just to get back into the mindset of people going into their NFTs. Oh my God, only like secret rares, like obviously Grail, Spider-Man, even Todd's and Risso's, they're seeing obviously the floor is going down. So they're like, you know what? Before I take a dump, it's not like a coin. Let me try to get mine out real quick because I could get gems, sell them, get some Tether or whatever, or just go into Tether and just go get OMI because OMI's so cheap. Oh my God, I could get so much more. I'd rather have this much millions of OMI than that secret rare. They start looking at their secret rare, or they look at their collectible or comic now as a compromised asset instead of, because OMI's cheap. They're like, oh, I could get so much more OMI now. But what you're not realizing is that OMI adds still 0.6 of a penny or 0.7 of a penny is still ridiculously sick in the sense of how cheap it really is. And so selling an NFT, though, might seem like the wise thing to do because you think you're going to get so much more OMI, but the reality is it doesn't make that NFT any less scarce. And you could lose value even coming to OMI at this point. You could go 50% lower from here.
Yeah.
So it's you got to really consider, I did what I did, and I'll get into that in a sec, because of the terms. But I had no intention. There was no sale. I'll tell you what happened basically. So obviously, Randy, you've been an inspiration, not just to me, but many people in this space. And I've been an inspiration to a lot of people in this space. And there's obviously a lot more content creators that have been inspirations. This is just, people are admired across the board. And so I get hit up one day from his name is Dean. He's in Chicago, or I'm sorry, not in Chicago, in Michigan. And he hits me up to escrow a deal. And I've escrowed some deals just for fun. I don't want nothing. I'm not a an official moderator, and I've done deals and I do it because of just people. But the guy that's selling the item would love to use you, and you're an inspiration to me. In fact, his profile name is Mr. I'm not going to say whatever, and he's like, you could see obviously my wallet. You see who owns it, so that's him, and he says that I want you to do a deal, an escrow for us, and I'm like, all right. I just didn't know how much it was, and then he tells me, it was for, and I already had my Walt in it was a mold of 6 NFTs that I was me and Patrick were going to do a deal.
Yeah.
And it never kicked off because the whole Russian thing came in, and his time was spent a little more in that, which I respect. And I don't need the money. I'm just like, thought we were going to do a deal. And I figured, before I start 86 in some of these out of this little a folder of items, I don't want to come back to him and him say, oh, what happened? You got rid of that. You got rid of that. You already, it was time. But I did. That's what's going on. I have the Risso, like the 57 Rissos, like getting circulated between a whole bunch of people.
Wow.
I have it still, I'm saying, but there's offers coming in. I'll give you this, give you that, give you this, for the Risso. I have, the guy that's got the Aston Martin secret rare car, the 41.
Yeah.
Wanted to do a straight up trade for the Risso 57. And I got the 57 in another deal, maybe going pending. My friend Brent's he wanted to do a straight up trade for, a couple of SRs. So there's a couple items in that queue that are kind of like, they're on the marketplace, but not more private. Right.
Yeah.
So long story short, he's like, I know you would never move on. You're getting rid of your 45, whatever, but, I'm getting a pickup, like a 47, I think it was, or whatever. And I'm like, wow, really? Okay. Whatever. So obviously there was a price and everything else. And, I hit, Patrick up one more time. It's like, listen, I don't know where you're at, but just let me know, because it might be gone. I might have, an opportunity, and maybe, so he's like, it's okay, brother. Just do your thing, whatever. And I'm like, that's cool. I respect that. So, I was possibly the Walt actually there was actually a three NFT trade for the Walt 45 that I was going to do, a sick one. And I backed out of that, and I wind up selling it to the guy that I was going to NFT. I was going to escrow for the Walt that he was buying.
Yeah.
It wind up coming to be, I did the deal, and then whatever. And then that guy that was selling 47, he wind up still making a deal with him. I actually did escrow the deal. It was just on a different, it was not as much tether. And there was another Walt included. So it was a Walt along with tether for the lower mint Walt.
Yeah.
And so, he wind up he has the 45 now, Walt, and the 47.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's what I'm
God.
saying. Like, dude, and you don't even realize. I mean, I know he realized it, but I try to talk him into some deals. He was going into something. I got him and Sean. I was like, you know what? Because I see he's a little new, but he's very smart. He's intelligent. He's got his own company. Good dude, man. And I said, you know what? I can definitely educate him in the comic space, but I figured, you know what? Let me get Papa Bear in here. I hit Sean up real quick. I was like, bro, dude, I called him. I was just like, it's like Cali. I'm like, I called Sean. I'm like, yo, he's like, what's up, man? I'm driving. What are you doing? I'm like, bro, listen, I got to hook you up with some guy, bro. I'm going to connect you. Just take care of him, bro. Educate him. I'm thinking like 15, 20 minutes. Bro, it's like 2 hours later, bro. Sean hits me up. He's like, yeah, bro, I just got done talking. I'm like, what? This is for 2 hours. Bro,
That's great.
Dean got his fucking diploma. He's college degree, bro. He's telling me where to put my MC1 SR, bro. I'm like, yeah, bro. No, but it's cool. And so I wanted to get him into getting into some grails and making him understand, some of those particular aspects of comics, because he was just like not all just pro collectible. He just wasn't validated to have the education of comics. And there's a lot of people listening. A lot of people favor one or the other. I say, please, be balanced, because they're both going to grow. And there's arguments, and I get debates all the time. Mr. Pags, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Same.
And yeah, what about this and what about that is? This is what it is. It's collectibles are like the exact same thing that you would have in the physical world. They actually are collectibles. They're an actual physical statue. A statue is an item that it comes like, where do you bring a Todd McFarlane statue to somebody and say, do you want to buy this? What is it? For what? Like, am I going to take it and put it on my shelf and say, hey, how you doing, Bruce Wayne? I'm Arthur Fleck. How you doing? Nice to meet you. You know what I'm trying to say? What I mean is like, what do you get out of it? And what market do you have on it? Maybe a little, maybe not, but where is it? And that's the representation of the NFTs. So, but in comics, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just making a point. But they were saying, what about comics? Well, comics, there's an actual marketplace for them. They're represented in a market that has actual physical sales.
Very robust marketplace.
It's compelling enough to have Comic Cons, not statue cons, and year after year in multiple places around the world. And it grows every year. And so this is where, people have to realize that, granted, the collectibles are great and NFTs are great, and don't sell anything or buy anything because of what I'm saying. Just take it all in and make sure you understand that comics, specifically more of the golden or silver age, these particular older comics in real life are very, very expensive. They're changing lives. People are waking up and they got something that maybe they paid 10 grand for. It's 30 grand now. They didn't do nothing. It was just because there's another guy that's in Canada or in, Australia that went to a show and bought one. It just moved the marker up. It's just like real estate.
That's what I love.
Real estate with a house. That's what comics are. They're really like real estate, because there's a integrated market of sale history. And that's how homes are. That's how a bank gives a loan to a buyer. They have to go off the comp sales of anything that's relative to that same metric. And that's a comp. So how does a comic have its value? Very easy, because there's a comp to compare it to else in another sale in the world or in the market. And that's why I came into this game in the comic space, and I did specifically what I wanted to do and why I did it. And that's why I have what I have. And I haven't spent I spent fractions of what anyone would have to spend to get what I have, is because of that reason. I seen the vision early. It's not too late. I'm just saying in another 3 years from now, and when you're looking at like MC1 commons at $2 grand up to 10 grand in commons, and the secret rares are just all hundreds of thousands, and it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Floors are hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
People are going to say, holy crap, how the hell? It's because we have we have a sale history of it. You know what
And
I'm
that's
saying?
not including other utility. Like even for the physical comics, like compared to there was a 2.0 or 2.0 CGC Fantastic Four #1 that sold, I think, this morning or yesterday for over $15,000. And that's like a 2.0 of a Fantastic Four #1 graded that sold for that. You know, when the physicals rise, the digital will rise with it. And it might be a little delayed, we might be early, but that will happen. And I've told a lot of people, and Dan Chabell likes to quote me on this, that I would much rather be an investor than someone that has to give this utility. Although I have given utility to the Alligator Loki and the Secret Rare Storm, saying if anyone has a Secret Rare Alligator Loki, I'll pay for their trip into um, into Universal or Disney when I go down there.
I remember that. Well, who are you doing that with?
That's just gonna be whoever wants to
Anybody?
be. Yeah, whoever wants to be in Orlando at that time, whenever I decide to go down. I was going to do something for the party as well in October, for October 15th for Mulcahy's. I haven't really thought of anything yet, um, but I did have something for Black Panther as well. Before we had the Black Panther statue, I said anyone who has a Secret Rare Storm, I'll pay for dinner and I'll pay for your ticket into the Black Panther 2 series. So there's other people like me that will give these utility, and I don't have to do anything. Other people will invest in these things, and me and other people, other influencers, will give it utility. Something I did want to get your opinion on. There's this guy, Jamie Burke, who has almost 37,000 followers on Twitter, and he had said before that rumor is Disney is about to make a big NFT acquisition. And Gary V said, do you think that Disney might get in bed with Gary V at some point? And if you do, in what aspect? And if you don't think they will, why not?
I'm going to tell you something about Gary V.
Mm-hmm.
When I was back in the mid 90s, it was like 24-ish, 22, 23-ish, 24-ish.
Yeah.
I had a mentor for he was a broker, stockbroker.
Yeah.
And I want to say something that I can tell you, Gary V reminds me of him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. But I'm going to tell you something that's irks me, because I like what Gary V represents.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate in meeting people, and I had admiration for people that are like myself, or at least have some same, like, you know, attributes and things that we kind of like share and stuff and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I can see snakes through the grass, and I look at him like a snake in the grass. And I like him. I like what he represents. But there's a tone that he displays that makes me very weary. And for me, those like when I hear Reese speak, or when I hear Dan, I mean, David's good too, but David's a little more like, him and Dan are very different in their own ways, even though they're very similar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When Dan speaks, it reminds me of like Reese and Dan, like that. They have that same kind of. Gary V, he just don't have it, bro. And honestly, I don't want to say he sounds like a bullshitter, but if he is a bullshitter, he's not a good one. And I know he likes to advise, and he's always a consulting advisor when it comes to things like that. And he always comes with his approach, but it seems like it always comes with like a backstory. And he always has this caveat. For me, I don't invest in people like that. I'm not a fan of him. I like him, but I'm not like, I don't watch his, I'm not into his, people will post what Gary V says and all that other shit. Listen, I remember he was on, I don't know who it was, one of the guys interviewed him. I don't know if
Dan Chabell, yeah.
Remember, and Dan's my dude, bro. He's cool. And it was like, bro, just say it, man. It's yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what's your, Yeah, like you beat around the bush. Don't beat around the bush, bro. Because you know what? You are the bush, bro. You know what I'm saying? You are the bush.
That's what I loved about the community is that when Dan Chavez said like, "Hey, what do you think about Spider-Man being on the Ethereum blockchain or the OMI immutable X blockchain?" And he says, "Well, what if the people say that like, oh, we don't view this as the first one, we view it as like Solana or whatever." And the whole community started tweeting at Gary Vee to the point where he had to make a separate Twitter video saying like, "Hey guys, yeah, I Veve and OMI, they do great. I like their IP." And he's like, nothing against them. And that video had gotten viewed like 100,000 times. So I think that the people can see through that, despite the fact that there are a couple of naysayers and people that have no investing or whatever background. There are a lot of people, at least loud enough, that can go and almost bully Gary Vee into saying like, "Hey, you were wrong, and we are right, and you should explain." And
yeah, that's right. That's right. Like, listen, like Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. Yeah. Like, these are people that I like. I like direct hitters. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll get someone on the show and he direct hits you. There's no like you're not dodging the ball, bro. Like, I know he's got a great following. Gary's like, he's a legend in his own mind, and he's got a lot of followers and people love him. You know what I'm saying? But he's a bullshitter, bro. And he's not a good one. If you're going to bullshit, I'm a slug. Sell me salt. Sell me the pen. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me about the pen. Sell me it though. And he doesn't come off like that guy. He's just a real, I don't know. I don't want to say like a fast talker thing, because I talk fast. I don't mean it like that. He's like, he just doesn't want to hit direct points, and he does it like strategically, and it seems like it's only to his benefit. They don't even say nothing because, it might affect his bottom line,
Yeah.
And
something that I do like about our team is that like Gary Vee, he seems to be in a million different places at once, which if he can do it, more power to him.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem like he's all in on Recur. That's just one of the many things he has going on. But for David and Dan and everyone that works at Ecomi, it seems like this is the one thing that they have. And as what Vidimon says, that Alcon would not get out of retirement for just anyone. Just for nobody that has like a fast talking like car salesman, whatever, spins them a line. They investors and YouTubers, we are storytellers. How do we get people to invest? How do we get people to listen to us? Allow them to spin you a yarn. And in order to get Alcon out of retirement, you either have to be like the best salesman in the world, or you have to be someone that is genuine and someone that come to him with an idea that he thinks is good. He's saying ideas.
Bro, Alcon is the salesman, bro. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Alcon is the salesman. He's the guy that, yeah, guess what I got? Here, sign. That's Alcon.
Yeah.
Dan and David aren't those guys. That guy, Alcon's that guy. Bro, they got it. Bro, listen, it's just a matter of time. I can't wait till because everybody will be like, I told you so. Bro. Just relax, you know what I'm saying? Just take it. What I mean? Yeah, $250 million. I know, and Disney could take $250 million, like a slice off the cheese wheel that they got, and do that. You know what I'm saying? And no, it has nothing to do with the price of. Look, we're not. This Vivi is not a or OMI. It's not a press release driven entity. It is a ball in motion, and the snowball is growing bigger, and there's less snow on the ground because of that fact. Yes. If that makes any sense, if you can understand what I'm saying. So as the ball gets bigger, it accumulates more snow as it's going down the hill because it's getting bigger. And that's really what OMI and what they've started. And because it's tied, the retail aspect of that company is tied to the actual tokenomics of the coin. You have two moving parts, though going, obviously in the same direction. They're going in opposite directions because as one makes money, it's taking away something on the other end, and in the supply. And so, and as time goes on, it's just a matter of where we get to a point where it's gridlock, where it's like, oh shit, there's no more snow left. This ball is huge. What do we do? Obviously, with stocks or with companies that are in the stock market, what happens, as you just seen with Amazon, what takes place when the snowball gets too big? They forward split.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what happens. And that's the explanation of that. And then guess what? Now you have a bunch more snowballs going, because that's, you have to split it by that many times. Now you have that many more snowballs. And then time goes on, and that's just the way it is. And we have what was I going to say? I was going to say something before about we were talking before we were talking about we're talking about Alcon. And I want to say something about Alcon. Like, we don't have, that's not like, Alcon's not like this guy that he's on like we can go and have like thousands of YouTube interviews and we can like get him. Like we can really like pull him apart, see if he's a bullshit, he's a rug puller, see if he's, there's only so much about him that we can get.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not like this big encyclopedia book that, we got like only a few videos with him ever in it. We only got a few things, but we know what he has done. That's a less is more guy. That's the kind of stuff that I like. Okay. Yeah. I like the guy that doesn't have a lot of, the spotlight's not on him, but he has developed and created his impact on the media industry and the toys and gaming is bro, it's second to none. Him being aboard. Honestly, if he wasn't aboard Vivi, if he wasn't on their team, I probably still would have invested, but I can tell you I wouldn't have invested as much.
Yeah, so agreed. Same. I didn't invest as much as I did up until I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, it's over." Just because I knew him from Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, and you're obviously in the segment of the Pokemon, and you understand that more, and a little more obviously on the side of the actual collecting standpoint. So you even got the metric of understanding supply and demand. So you get it more. You know the numbers, even geographically. You know what parts of the world are even stronger than half the people I even know. So that's important, because just think about taking that a gauge of knowing where the strength is with Pokemon, knowing that if we get Vivi in those areas, what kind of an impact that's going to be. It's just like everybody's sleeping on Ultraman. We get that drop, and it's like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, who's Ultraman now? We don't even talk about Ultraman. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, think about it. We've done so much talking about like secret rares, and we talked about Spider-Man and Rissos and Todds and all the comics. But what was the biggest thing that we talked about before we talked about them? It was Donnie. Yeah. Nobody talks about Donnie. No, like, he's off the map. Even him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's gone. Like, no one talks about certain things. You know what? It's just like, where? Nobody cares about Donnie? Wait, whatever happened to the 007 ticket? Nobody cares about that? Nobody cares about the Amazing Spider-Man comic 252. That was an edition? Dude, there was like 100, not even 50 like SRs. Like, what are you doing, bro? 25, what was there?
I forget. I know Dr. Prophet had a few of them.
I'm just saying, what happened? Why don't they? They're over 100,000 each. No one's talking about them. Or are they too far out of the range for conversation?
I think it's when there's too few of something, and there is not enough movement or liquidation. Like, in 1 week you could have 100 Rissos sell, but in that same week you could have none of the Spider-Man or none of the Donnies, or in that same month you could have none of the Donnies sell. So I think when there's less action of something, people kind of forget about it.
Yeah, what was there? I think only like 150 on the Donnies, right?
Yeah,
dropped.
Yeah, so not a ton.
I mean, 150 is like in an ocean. It's like sand, grains of sand. It's gone. You don't even notice it. Well, obviously, when it's in a bowl, because that's all we had at one time when Donnie was released. We could see everything. Now you can see grains in there. So it gets lost to the, the
bowl gets bigger each week because we have so many more new drops. And something I did want to ask you about. I've told people this multiple times, but I think they need to hear it from someone else, and I think that someone else is you. I've told people to look at the past and look at what happens with Facebook when they're about to become irrelevant. They buy Instagram, or they buy WhatsApp, or they attempt to buy Snapchat. I think that Facebook and other companies like Facebook will have already tried to have bought a Comey because the CEOs are not sleeping on this new technology. And I think that Dan Chabel brought up on Tuesday, a lot of people, especially David and Dan, have realized that, yes, there is a happy ever after where they do sell this for billions of dollars, but there's also the day after happy ever after, where what do they do then? So I think that they will not sell this company for many, many years, if not decades, because this is probably going to be the greatest thing that they've ever done.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I can't. I don't look. We can talk to our blue in the face. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to say I don't want to waste time talking about things like that because it's such a we're so early into Vivi building. We don't have to talk about who's buying them. You know what I'm saying? I want to get like through the next few grail drops. You know what I'm saying? Like before the summer. It's it's a dash. Oh, yeah, that's right. Your girl's house. That's right.
I have the rat behind me.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. She's taking a snooze right now.
Hey, the address that you gave me, that's your girl's?
Which one did I give you?
The one I asked you for.
Probably. Yeah. If it was the one.
Good. No, because I got something coming. And I for you, it's probably gonna be if it doesn't come to you by Thursday, Friday this week, it'll probably be the beginning of the following week on like Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
And but I had a little bit of a because my wife going to Italy and everything, we're brothers, so I had a little delay holding the fort down here. 2 kids and everybody, hey, run around, going crazy.
Yeah. So what is your thoughts on, they said these Ukraine NFTs, will they be worth anything in the future, being as first NFT to maybe not support the war, it's to support relief for the war? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, obviously you talk about the first NFT to support a war. It's a bad question, but I know what you mean.
Talk about relief for a war. The first
Yeah, I think that this is what I did, right? I participated in the drop. I didn't get. I obviously wasn't lucky enough to get either one. However, today was my wife's birthday, so it's 3/12, and today is historically the day of the drop is 3/12. So I was fortunate to get the poster, Secret Rare 3/12. For $250 gems.
Get the fudge out of here! Are you kidding me?
I got it. You know what I mean? I even sent it to. I don't know what I sent it to. I sent it to somebody to show them. And
oh my god!
And I gave it. I sent it to her. She's in Italy. She looked at her thing. She said, "What'd you send me?" I'm like, I got you a thing. And I'm like, look at the mint number. She goes, "Oh my god, it's my birthday!" But it signifies not just her birthday, but the day of the drop too. So that's a double wham for 250 gems. Come on, I think the floor might be 200. Anyway, I didn't get the flower either. Then I went in the market and I got the 60, the ultra rare 60 flower for like 499 gems. So, and wherever that goes, it goes. I'm just like to answer the question. They're limited. The poster is just as limited as the Walt in numbers. So that's that. For one. For two, who's look, there's going to be people who are not going to buy it because they're offended. And then there's going to be people, because there's always them people.
Yeah, of course.
And then there's, because they're never going to support. But then there's going to be the people that are going to be without one that wish they had one. And they may come into the market just buying a floor because mint numbers don't matter, really. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a guy that's got like, he bought like the 41, the 42. He's got like the 49. Some guy Beard or something I seen on there. It's whatever. I seen him like lock up and bro, it was they were selling for like 10 grand, 20 grand, 30, 40 grand gems. Now he's got like 4 or 5 of them. He's got the 41, the 42. He's got, a whole bunch of the 40s, and he's selling them for like 250,000, 200,000. Wow. What do he spend on them to get them? 100,000 gems, like 50, 60K, on a gem rate. I'm only making this a point. For what? I mean, I'm a low mint guy. I don't understand. I get it. But like, what? It's not like it's a secret rare Spider-Man or MC1 or some super great, like where the mint number might matter a little bit based on the mintage and the blockchain and the notoriety of having an early one.
Yeah.
What's the notoriety of having a lower mint of one of them? I mean, it's not like I bought the 60 only because it was $499. I seen ones that were like $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 that were like in the 70s and 80s. And I just thought it was super cheap for a 60. And I was going to spend a nickel anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't matter. But I just don't see, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like getting the low mint, spending all those gems for something like that. It's insane. Yeah. What was that thing that you had put up just now? I missed it. I don't know if it said something.
Which one? You are the bush. You were talking about Gary V. Not beating around the bush. You are the bush.
You are the bush. Yeah, you are the spoon. You know, thank you, S4. I think that and I don't. This isn't like a bash Gary V thing. This is just my opinion. And there'll be 100 people in this room, and maybe 80 of them will disagree with me, and maybe 10 will agree, and the other 10 will be on the fence. It's irrelevant. Yeah. I don't care how numbered I am. This is just my opinion, because I'm a realtor and I'm a people person. I've been in the food service business for 2.5 decades. You know what that means? I've had to feed a lot of people food, and you know what? When it comes to having to make someone smile when they get food, you have to master being a people person. If you don't do that, I don't care what you serve them, it'll never work out. I've given horrible dishes to people and I made them smile. You know why? Because I know how to make people smile, because I'm a people person. And when I could tell you I'm a people person, you know what that means? I could look at you and I could tell. And Gary V's not that guy, bro. He just isn't in my book. I don't know him personally, but I've seen enough of videos and things I've watched, interviews, I've listened to him. It's just he just I don't know, man. I'm not investing in him, and whatever he puts out, I'm not investing in. That's just me. I'm not putting $1 in it. I don't care if he makes $1 trillion, and God bless him if he does.
Yeah.
I will have no part of it, and that's
a fact. Very interesting take. Because even though, and that does bring us to, and I would like your opinion on this to divert a little bit. I'm not comparing Gary V to this, but there is an episode of Rick and Morty where they go into this kind of alternate reality where they're all worms or something. And this head worm, the one that preaches like positivity and being kind to one another, was a big pillar in the community. At the end of the episode, it shows that after that person had died, that worm had pictures of little worms in his like little worm house. And it said, and one of the worms I found says, we have to tell people about this. People deserve to know. And the worm that is like the next person to take his place says, no, we can't, because that person spreads all this joy, and that would all be undone if people were to find out who he really was.
Right.
If that's
the rug would be pulled. The rug would be pulled.
Do you think that it would be best if, like, let's say if Gary V is not the person who he claims to be, do you think it is best that he's either found out about that, or should he continue to carry on the light, because he always preaches gratitude and he always preaches kindness? Which do you think is the best?
Look, whether he's already a successful guy, okay? This isn't a topic of that, because that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. And
where he's intelligent enough to make wise decisions, enough to get himself to the position that he's in right now.
Yeah.
And he's only going to grow on that. That goes without saying. And like I said, this isn't a debate about that. This is just about the way that he portrays himself, and the way that I understand. It's like politicians, right? I don't have an emotion on politicians. You know why? Because they're politicians, and I get it. They have to have that cloak that they hide behind, because it's understandable. They need to be the wizard behind the curtain, because that's what politics is. It's not like not every politician could be a Donald Trump. They can't be like, this is the way it is, and if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Go somewhere else. Politicians don't speak like that. And I don't expect Gary V to be that guy, because he's not a politician. However, just be more direct, and just let me get a little bit of, a little hindsight as to what's really. I mean, this is just like, back and forth communication. He talks like he's not arrogant. He just talks like he's got it all figured out. And anything that you could come to the table, nah, he's got it all figured out. It's over. Don't worry about it. You know what? I'll tell you another time. Don't worry. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Don't talk like that. Like, honestly, I could never ever interview him. Like, Dan has patience because that's what he does. Like, it's like reporters. They'll go in their face and be like, but what was the reason why you took those troops out? Well, it's so rhetorical. We know why. Everybody knows why. Just like you're just doing it to get the answer. I'm speaking on like hit me with your best shot. I want to hear it. I don't care. It's not going to hurt me. But don't beat around the bush. You know what I'm saying? And I understand there's a lot of things in business, especially when you're in the, obviously Deca millionaires have a different kind of mindset. They have to, because they have to protect their interest. Right. And I respect that too. Obviously people can't hit the nail on the head all the time because they're somewhat guarded by what they can say and stuff. I mean, and I have respect for that, but I don't want to waste my time with that. That's a whole nother, please,
Okay. So something else I wanted your thoughts on is that currently there seem to be two other companies outside of Vivi and OMI that are using OMI as utility. Like it is Brock McBlockchain, our favorite bread cat, that will be coming on the podcast on the 28th. CEO of the Fiches has accepted OMI for Fiches, that NFT project, and Epico Regal have confirmed a partnership with OMI, and they haven't said so, I think yet, but I think they're probably going to have OMI utility in there as well. Do you think any one of those are Dr. Profit's predictions, where Dr. Profit had said in December of last year that this year there will be other companies that use OMI as utility? Do you think that these are the only two? How many more do you think that they will have?
That's a great question. By the end of the year, I definitely is going to be at least 5 more minimum. But I think that we're only in the scope of like on small like numbers. Mm-hmm. When we start getting into like big names, it's going to change the game altogether. It's going to change the game altogether. I'm telling you, that's why Foster's been a great advocate of the tokenomics and the way that he's
coin wizard. Foster,
yeah. Foster, when he starts talking, when he starts getting into tokenomics, I love to listen because he has so much insight. And it's like it's really important because those particular when you start looking at the numbers, when you're talking about tokenomics, and you're starting to see where the OMI token as a utility starts to get broken off into different aspects. It's like when I was talking about the snowball going down, that now you're creating more snowballs now. So like, it's going to be like, is there going to be a day where we have like 5 to 10 billion OMI burned on a day, and we're over 2 or 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents? We're talking about billions burned when we're in the cents, because we have so many. There's so many. There's so much utility being used.
Yeah.
That's why I know we have to go over. We have to go in the 50 cent to $2 range. We have to, because we'll burn too much OMI. Because when Vivi verse comes, it's going to be ridiculous.
Oh, it's going to be nuts, and nobody.
That's what I'm trying to say. So wait, multiply that, and then realize every single day we're going to have 2 days. We're going to have drops. It's still coming in. Like more people coming to the app. Like it has to go. It has to. We'll go through. It'll be too. Listen, it'll get to a point. Well, they'll have to incentivize. Obviously, whales like ourselves holding hundreds of millions of OMI, they're going to have to incentivize us to sell to somehow. What are they going to do?
I mean, the token's already able to be fractionalized if need be. They wouldn't have put that in unless they knew that OMI was going to the moon. And also the fact that they have, when Reese said, hey, full OMI utility will be rolled out in 4 quarters in 1 year. To me, that means that OMI utility doesn't just end with raffles or OMI to NFT. That ends with OMI to land. So when Viviverse comes out within a year, that's going to be, again, just OMI to land, or just because you buy land doesn't mean that you buy a house. That just means that you have land. So I think you're going to be able to
rental, recurring. And
so the houses on top of that, there's going to be people like me, you, Dr. Profit, whoever, that let's just say it's $100 per floor of the house. Everyone gets a standard house for $100 of OMI, worth of OMI. And if you want a second story, let's say you don't want to mix your Marvel and DC, okay, you get a second story, one for Marvel, one for DC. And then you have one for specifically Disney, one for one for cards, one for music NFTs. You want to have a music floor.
You go in the attic and you got Cartoon Network up there.
Yeah, and then you have the DeLoreans, and then you have the Ecto-1s. You know,
no. You have your garage. You have the Aston Martin. You got the DeLorean. The Batmobile's coming, and you know that. Think about it. Yeah. Come on, bro.
So there's going to be people that maybe they only need 10 or 20 floors, but there's going to be someone like, oh yeah, they have 25 floors just because. There's going to be people that are going to want to one-up each other and say, like, I have the highest building, the tallest building in the Viviverse. I know it because I'm one of those people. I want to be the biggest. I want to be the best. I want to have the pillar, the center of the Viviverse. Because
you didn't get a chance to get it. You didn't get it in Sandbox. You didn't get it in D-Land, and you didn't get it in Earth 2. This time, bro, you're gonna have it's the Statue of Liberty with the Randy's face on it, with the the Statue of Liberty's head. Yeah. At the top, on the top of the building, you know what I'm saying?
I want that, and not only that, but
you think we'll be able to customize our own NFTs?
I hope so. I think yes and no. I mean
on the app, or you think on the app we'll be able to accessorize like our own avatar and create create an NFT and mint it on the layer 2?
So that's something that we talked about on Tuesday with Cavell and Dan, is that if they were to go and say, they were to reach out to me, be like, hey, you know what we're going to do, and I would be okay with this. They say, we're going to make a Randy Chavez Vivi NFT. It's going to be officially licensed, and even if I get 0% of those profits, let's say they make 1,000 of them, which would sell out like that anyway, because I have more than that subscribers. Suddenly 2 million people, Randy Chavez, what is this? And they come to my YouTube channel and suddenly my subscribership doubles. That'd be insane. But there's going to be people that might even pay a Comey, say like, hey, make an NFT of me, please, and I'll pay you just for the exposure. So Vivi can take all those profits and they can just bank it. They could burn the OMI, they could bank it, they could put it towards licensors, put it whatever they want. I can't wait for the amount. And again, that's just people like me.
Right. Multiply that times tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
By small companies. I'm not even talking about like Gatorade or Jack Daniels or whatever. I'm talking about mom and pop shops with like, yeah, we make honey. We make our own bread honey. Can you make our NFTs? We don't want any of the profits. You bank all of it. We just want the exposure. That type of thing is invaluable.
Well, that's the incentive. That's the incentivizing the advertising that you were talking about before and the marketing internally.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like for those particular outside vendors. But we're just talking about land and all this other shit. Bro, gamification and Pokemon Go in the Vivi world, bro. It's so nuts.
Yeah, and
bro, I'm telling you, you know what? I'm going to tell you something, because I know we got Nintendo, and I'm telling you right now, we got Pokemon. If we get that, if you are capable of creating or somehow accessorizing a Donkey Kong with the ball like that on Vivi, you know how like people put like a cape on like Walt, you know how they like, you know, they do it, you know, they put the two together.
Yeah.
If you could do your, you know, that when that happens, that'll be sick, man.
That'd be amazing. I also think that for us, if you're going to have the tallest building in the Viviverse, or just the most whatever in the Viviverse, the most decked out place, you hire Johnny Dunn to deck out your garage or your land. I think that people will want to go to your place if you're the only one that has, yes, I have 100 parcels of land all grouped together. You're going to have people go, and if you have a couple thousand people on there, there's going to be people that are going to want to advertise on your land. It's like, oh, hey, there's a billboard. I'll give you, you know, $500, you know, a month, or $100 for this event.
Randy, look, if you have your own Patreon in here, what do you think's going to happen in Viviverse? You know what I'm trying to say? It's the same. It's the same, you know, business model. I mean, it's the same model in that sense, but it's on a so much larger scale.
Yeah.
Because it's now it ain't going to. obviously whatever you charge for your Patreons in here, it's a different model in Viviverse. It may be, one OMI a day, but think about that. 10,000 people, one OMI to one person is nothing, to give you one, but for you getting 10,000 daily, I'm just saying, think about how crazy this is.
It's nuts. And not everyone at the time is going to be able to buy land. Like I think they're going to have that $50,000 staking tier for OMI. We're going to get the first, chance to get land, and there's going to be other people that are going to use our master collector points.
I always thought I don't know how you could bring back that question that just popped up about I can address or you could address
Vivi exclusive.
Yeah, comics? Just keep it there for a second.
Yeah.
I always thought about like the number of plots, because I'm looking at like Decentraland or two. Like I'm always looking at it like a grid. I'm thinking of Viviverse like a grid, and as a map, and I'm always looking, and I'm trying to envision how the layout is going to be in the scope of like guys that come first to the table, like me or you, or like what bigger hitters. Ray Fixie, whatever, where we have MCU points, we got like obviously a 50K tier. We're like in there, and we have obviously, we're financially stable enough to afford what we want. Yeah. Does it become like how you look at a lot of people that are in the collectibles or comics, like myself or other people, that they take like the top 3 or 4 of the lowest mints? And is it going to be something where we see a lot of like we're going to see a whole bunch of Randys spread out because you got the first shot, or there's going to be a lot of Mr. Pag spots out there? I'm not saying for an unfairness or fairness. I'm just saying, are we going to see a lot of those like similar names because of and then how's that going to construct, an equilibrium for the ones that cannot get in, like Earth 2, where, it's like we're going to have to wait for Viviverse 2 to come out to kind of like get in, and is there going to be like, well, if you have X amount on Viviverse 1, you can't participate in Viviverse 2, if you have over a certain amount, to kind of like give you a gauge of maximums,
So here's where I think what will happen will exist with how many parcels of land we can get. I think that they will have a certain amount that probably this will probably be one of the drops, or one of the things that will not be sold out, which is another point I wanted to make before I forgot to, is that Vivi hasn't done any marketing yet. If they get to a point where they don't sell out every drop like consistently, they could just do marketing like that, and they would sell out again immediately and like double their usership. Anyway, this will probably be one of the drops where there's, let's say, 10 million plots of land or 100 million plots of land, whatever it is. Not maybe that, so that not everyone could get one plot of land. There will be a future in which they eventually get bought up, but they will acquire more. Not that they will acquire more companies; they'll get licensors with more companies that will enable them to do essentially a downloadable content. They'll get DLC. Oh, hey, here's like Nintendo World now. Here is Pokemon World, and in Pokemon, like just in Pokemon, they have, you can buy land in Pallet Town, and you can buy land on Route 1. You can buy land in Viridian City. You can buy land in a Viridian Forest, and go all the way. And they go all the way just in the first thing, just in that first generation, where there's 8 different towns with 8 different badges, not including all the routes in between, not including Nugget Bridge and the SSN and the Elite Four, just in Pokemon, just in that first generation, not including the 8+ generations that go after that, plus in Mario, you have the Mushroom Kingdom, you have Bowser's Castle, you have Sarasa Land where Mario is, you have all that stuff with Wario and Waluigi, you have Peach's Castle. Peach's Castle, I think, will be something that might not rival Cinderella's Castle at Disney, but it will be damn close. There's a lot more concentrated, passionate people.
But I mean, is it going to be licensed to the point like that we have, like we're in Viviverse, there's like Epcot Center and like Magic Kingdom and like Land Adventure Land, like, what I'm saying? Is there going to be a breakdown of like Disney World in Vivi, or is that a whole nother world? Is that a whole nother metaverse, Disneyverse?
I mean, Disney did file for their own metaverse, so I think if Disney, which I imagine they would, be part of Vivi because they have all of their comics and they have a lot of their characters here, especially Steamboat Willie, some of their major characters here in the Viviverse, they would most likely have something. Maybe not a full, hey, here's Epcot, here's Magic Kingdom, here's whatever. They would might have a conglomerate of little pieces of that. I think they would save the big parks for their own metaverse. But I also think that similar to in Pokemon, how for Generation 1 and 2, you can go from Goldenrod City in Generation 2 to Saffron City in Generation 1. I think that for the Viviverse, the Disneyland that's probably going to be in there, if you go there and let's say the only way to get there is having a Disney NFT, you will probably be able to transport from there to actual Disney's metaverse if you have accounts on both for free. Other people might be able to say like, oh, hey, well, guess what? You can take.
You mean like an interoperable like portal in the Viviverse going directly to another metaverse, like from there to there? That's insane, bro. That's insane. I didn't even think of that.
I mean, that's something that I could see happening and that I would totally do. I would say like, well, if you don't have a Vivi account, or I'm sorry, if you don't have a Disney Metaverse account, you can still go there as a guest, but it costs you a couple of gems or whatever, and you could take the Millennium Falcon, or you could take Luke's X-wing, and you could travel there from one place to another. It shows like a 10-second clip of you traveling, and you can get there for admission if you don't want to make a Disney Metaverse thing. That's what I would do. Because
what's your ticket cost though? Is that a just to have the actual NFT in your possession, or is that a whole nother fee in addition?
So that would be one thing. If you let's say you could have something in the Viviverse, where let's say it does cost you a Disney thing, which I don't know if they would do that, because in order to have a Disney NFT, there's only a couple 100,000 people that could get that. Maybe a million, and they probably wouldn't want to limit themselves. So maybe you could rent it, but in order to get into the Disney metaverse, again, they might not want to limit it. But here's how they get around it. Let's say it's like getting Hulu. It's free to get like a free trial, but you have to put in your credit card information. Or if you don't cancel, they start charging you. And if you don't want,
so you're talking like subscription kind of bound a little bit.
Yeah, and if you don't want to pay for a subscription, or sign up for a free trial, you could say like you can still get there, but you just have to take a transport ship from the Disney metaverse in Viviverse to the actual Disney metaverse.
Or if you have a Disney Plus home, if you're a subscriber to the network, maybe then that'll be incentivized based on, or maybe you have a special code if you're you know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, we did just get promo codes, so that would make sense. Like, hey, put this in and you can get that.
What does it say? Are you guys bullish on Vivi exclusive comics?
Yeah, and then somebody saying that Lucady Ducady says he's been going ham wild on those exclusives, and he's probably not the only one. Like the ones we get, the rare and the ultra rare of the comics, where they were made specifically for Vivi. I think those are pretty undervalued because they don't exist in the real world. It's not something that you can get in the physical copy. You can only get that on Vivi.
I had a pretty in-depth conversation with Sean specifically about this, and this goes back to the first exclusive with the Fantastic Four 13, and I offended in a weird way. I had acquired the it just happened to be, I don't know, software does this random. The very first exclusive comic, exclusive Vivi exclusive comic happened to be the rare of the Fantastic Four 13, and it just happened to be it was the 201, which was the very first comic in the set.
Yeah.
I wound up getting that I bought a bundle of NFTs, and that was one of them. And then I wound up getting the ultra rare, which was the lowest one, the 215, which that one. I got those both, the two exclusives, and I'm very bullish on that exclusive, Vivi exclusive. And I think that trying to grab at least one of every exclusive, Vivi exclusive, is going to come with you're gonna have some kind of a maybe a drop or something just for having them, and all of them. I think it'll definitely it'll be positive for you. Hey, bless, man.
Thank you. So
there was someone that said something. Hold on, before Billy Boy. Just you keep that, you can keep that up.
Okay.
Someone had asked, do I think it was Hollow? Asked if there was did I think what do I think about a Walt versus a secret rare Aston Martin?
Oh, I didn't get to
one
that
or the other. I mean, it goes without saying. Aston Martin's a really cool car, but the Walt's Walt, man. It's Walt. You know, it's a partners. I say Walt, but it's Walt and Mickey. It's the the Statue of Dreams. What do you think of that?
Yeah, what do you think of sell walls and people putting up a bunch of one NFT and making a sell wall, and anything that people post under that they just buy up and then they get rid of the sell wall?
Yeah, I that's an interesting thing. So a sell wall where there's what do you call it? Flexing, and then there's strategy.
Yeah.
And then there's, someone has it's not strategy, it's a little more like there's a manipulation going on.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple things happening. When you're talking about that many in one thing, don't look at them as a sell wall. Just look at them that there's that many random people that just happen to coincidentally have all the same price.
Yeah.
Don't look at it like it's one entity putting them all out. Just look at it like it's many entities, and they just all happen to have the same number. They're all selling it. You have to be psychological on them. Don't look at it like, because what are you looking at? Are you looking to buy one? If not, then don't make a question about a sell wall. Just look at it. That's all it is a wall. It's like looking at the Great Wall of China. I mean, what are you looking at it for? Do you plan to hop it? If not, what are you looking at it for? It's a wall.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it'll go away as quickly as it was built up. It can get brought down just as quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
no. I don't know if you're drinking around. I'll cheers, Dino.
Dino.
He is so cool. He is such a cool dude.
I call him a psycho kid.
At some point, if I do make NFTs, I would take OMI for them, and some of the proceeds would probably go to animal charities. I've been waiting for the right time to try to do something like that. Would you ever make an NFT, and what other things would you accept as payment instead of USDT?
Make an NFT for what?
Like of yourself, or to raise money? Would you?
If it was for like a cause, I mean, look, if I had any kind of, it's just like I don't want to say what Prophet and Stefan and Jane. There's a lot of people that were on that movement.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, yourself, myself, Foster. A lot of people that have contributed to moving that along and really getting that fire. Because I know initially it wasn't something that I think that David and company were looking to pursue. I think as time went on, and they seen how other companies and people and other things were going on, I was very blessed to have Ron English jump aboard that and not have to worry about being judged and put his business on the line for something. I'm glad that Vivi went along with that, because for a minute it looked like it was just going south. You know what I'm talking about. It wasn't looked like it was headed in the right direction, and it just turned real quick. But if there was an effort for me or an idea that I had, I would have to come with some compelling reasoning and logic for to create it and why and all that. But you have to realize, if I'm coming up with that, what's to stop 1 million other Vivi participants are coming up with theirs? And you say 1 to 1, you have to say 1 to everyone, and I don't want to say that with these wars, because what happens if, God forbid, another country goes and attacks another country, like say China goes to Taiwan and tries to take them over? Are we going to have a Taiwan drop? And then if not, wait, I'm just saying, and then say there's shelter and they're going through the same thing, and there's refugees and there's kids getting bombed and dying and women and everything else, then there's the question, well, what you did it for Ukraine? Why can't you do it for Taiwan? You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't become that, like if you don't do it for me, the reason is because then we got to do it for everybody, So I won't even question that. For me, if it's something that you want to do and you do it, I mean, don't get me wrong. If we had some kind of like legal counsel and we had like licenses and we had developers, we had the artists, and we had like the Ron Englishes behind us in our camp, and we wanted to do something, and Vivi was obviously accommodated for it in whatever sense of the business model that we came up with contractually. Yeah. Then because then there's a business, but just for like coming up with an idea for a cause or something, I don't see, you'll get a light, you'll get a Vivi lamp, you'll get some clothes, you'll get a hat, but I think that's about it, bro. I mean, that's me. I'm just, I don't think that we would go farther than that, to be honest with you. It's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. And maybe in the future, but right now.
Damn, Dino's giving us these $2 shots, man.
Listen, man, I'm not, first of all, I'm not big. I'm not a big drinker like that. Not that you have to be big to do that, but,
I've only drank, I think, well, last week was different because it was Danielle's birthday. So we were in the Poconos and we had.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see how you are? You see, you just slipped it out right there, bro.
How am I?
Just slipped it out. You just said Pocono. See, you just went from where you are. You hopped over me, and you went to the Poconos. You did that, bro. Not, hey, Pags, what's up, bro? No, what's up? Listen, we're gonna be on 280 for like 38 seconds. So while we're there, get to the side of the road. While we're passing you, since you live so close there, we'll pull over on the shoulder. We'll say, what's up?
I forget. Yeah, it was last week.
Where'd you go? When you went to, did you go to Mount Airy where the casino was and shit? You go that one?
I love that place. I usually do pretty well there, but we didn't go there. We didn't go there last week. Last week we went to this place called Stroudsburg, and they had a really amazing. Here's my kitty. Here's Leo. This is baby. We had this really awesome place. I don't even know what it was called, but I had a deep fried mac and cheese burger. Like the buns were deep fried mac and cheese.
That's
it was
awesome.
Great. It was amazing. It was like the greatest thing. But what are you doing tomorrow?
So tomorrow is one of my busiest days. Because my wife's in obviously she's obviously more of a, I mean, my dad just gave me another one. He re-upped me. I'm like, yeah, re-up, man.
Yeah.
This stuff actually don't give me the energy people think. Like, it's not like, honestly, I take this and then I go to bed like I didn't even drink it. Coffee has more of an effect on me when it comes to like when I'm playing poker. I'll drink. I have no problem drinking this, but if I want to stay up, I drink coffee, bro. No problem. Yeah.
I used to do that when I was boxing, and like my muscles wouldn't relax. I would take a little bit of black coffee because the caffeine would actually relax my muscles, and I can go to sleep easier. It was really weird.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, even though it's caffeine, it's still just coffee does it different. So my wife is obviously more of a power real estate broker compared to me. She has a lot more inventory, and she does a lot of business. I mean, this year wasn't even a crazy year for her. She did like $120, $125. It wasn't even crazy 2021, and she did that. So just imagine. And so like we're over here. She's over here in Italy now, and I got like her clients, which are like they're good people and stuff. But I have my own stuff going on. Plus, now I got hers. So tomorrow I'm gonna be in I don't know if you know Caldwell. I'm gonna be in Woodland Park. I'm actually not going to be too far from the George Washington Bridge. I'm going to be in Englewood Cliffs or something like that, up in up in like Fort Lee area over there.
Okay.
It's on the Jersey side of the George Washington Bridge, like right there. Yeah. I'm probably going to be busy all the way up until like 6, and then I got to do the kids. We're doing family game night. It's going to be
cool. Good for you.
Yeah, crazy. We call them the crazy Sundays. Plus, getting the kids ready for school on Monday and stuff. But
yeah, I feel you.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I just tomorrow I think we have an open house. And it's going to be cold, and there's going to be lines of people. and you just gotta like cuddle up on shit like with my my hats and my scarves and shit, because when you gotta wait online, bro. And there's like between 25 and like 60 people on a line on the average.
Yeah.
So you just got to get in the queue and just hope that you know, even if you get there early, there's still people out there. They don't care. They're like tent. They go to tent and shit for like the day before, like just to get in the house quicker. It's crazy. Like that's going to matter.
Yeah. So in your opinion, when the CPI index came out the other day, inflation's a little bit higher, Fed's going to raise rates. What's going to happen to real estate? Do you think
you asked me that, bro. I'm sorry. You asked me that question. I remember I was telling you there's two things that are going to happen. Mm-hmm. Dino, you need to play poker with me. Has to be a quarter game because you obviously reasons, but I'm going all in. You know what, Dino? I call, bro. In fact, I re-raise you another quarter you don't even have. I'll raise you a quarter you got to borrow from Randy because you got to call me.
Shots fired.
So, two things are going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to have less. So we already have a lot of demand and not enough inventory, right? That's all that's really happening at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the reason why things are inflated, and there's most of the sales are going up and over 30 to 50, 60,000 up to 150,000. I seen one home 250,000 went for 400,000.
Yeah.
And I never think of that, but it's insane. I have a home that I have listed. It's in Mahwah, and so it's a it's a rental project, listed for like 270K. I'm just saying, got like 63 showings. You got like a dozen offers or more. I'm just making a point. This is the industry right now, but you have two things at hand right now. One, you have interest rates are still historically low on the average, right? You have obviously a lot of demand happening, coming from a lot of different ways, not just because you have like millennials are coming into the 25 range, 25 years old. They're starting to have who's having a kid, who's getting married. This is like, baby boomers' grandkids, and there's a lot of them, and that's important because they all got to leave the house. They got to get the fuck out, and they need to go. And they're just not enough, townhomes or condo complexes, or what we call all-in-ones, which are like, you have like downstairs, you got like the workout, you got a daycare, you got your crib, you got your pool, all in the same place. You got your service, all of that's like on the water, like all on like from everything from Bayonne all the way to Fort Lee, everything, Hoboken, Jersey City.
Yeah. So
there's not enough of the inventory, and so and the rates are obviously low. So you get a combination of that. But what's going to happen is you're going to get to a point where when rates get to a certain amount where it becomes unaffordable, and I don't know how long that's going to take, you're going to start to see a little bit of the demand come down, because there's going to be people that, what they're saying? Oh, hell with it. It's going to be like out of their range. And you don't want, it's not going to be like the 2008 with the bubble where they were just giving loans. If you had a heartbeat, you got a loan. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen this time.
I know.
You're just going to you're going to have to see the reality. You can't afford it, and you're going to have to start renting. That's why BlackRock's the biggest landlord right now in the country.
Yeah,
they see it coming. They see the pop coming.
Yeah.
So
$10 trillion of their asset.
It's happening. And so what's going to happen now is that's going to happen. Now, while you have demand going down on a slow rate, it's not going to just fall off.
Yeah.
Rates are going up. You're going to have a lot more of the inventory hitting the market, because if the demand goes down, there's a lot of the inventory that's not going to, those orders aren't going to be filled. So they're going to have a little bit of an influx of inventory climbing. And when that happens, there's less of competition. So prices are not going to be gauged. You're going to have people dropping their prices a little bit because there's obviously less people getting them. So they're going to be like, you know what, maybe let's drop it a little because, we want to sell. They got motivated sellers now. Even though it's not going to be sellers market, going to get tipped into the buyer's market. And then you're going to start seeing real estate prices start to come down a little bit, and they're going to become a little bit more realistic. However, they're not going to drop. Oh my God, you're going to see $700,000 homes become maybe 625. They're not going to be 525s though.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? So that's where we're at. But inflation's going up, and product costs are going up, and food cost is going up, and gas is going up. And when you take the transportation costs into someone's budget, when they didn't account for that when they bought their house, now it's like, oh shit, I don't have the money to pay for that gas. Here, just charge it. Here, just charge it. Here, just charge it. Now their debt to income ratio gets flip-flopped now, and their credit score gets a little bit compromised. So what happens? Now, if rates are high and your credit's low, and you go for like a home equity line because you're in trouble, or you go to get a loan, or you try to borrow money, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a no, because you're going to be at a point they're going to say you have too much debt, not enough income to match it, because of what? Because of survival. You need to eat, and those costs go up when you go to the supermarket, and you need to travel between your car maintenance and maintenance expensive too. Even car costs are going up to fix cars and shit, and gas. So, bro, and we're like 5 years away or whatever until we start to see it, unless we have some crazy something pops off.
Yeah.
With like a nuke or some shit, or EMP, which is possible.
Oh, the reason why I was asked that is because I was curious, and two, since last year, Danielle's been putting in offers on places in Florida, and she's been consistently getting outbid. And she was putting around the offers in what they were asking for, but people keep coming in like 15 to 20 grand over asking price and what they're offering cash. It's like, oh, damn, it's been nuts. And I don't think it's really smart to buy in this market right now. It's just been gone up and up and up for the last like 12 years. It's like, okay, well, probably due for a little bit of a decrease at some point. But
the question I get all the time is, should I wait? Hey, Hen, what do you think? What should we do? This is where I'm at. One thing that doesn't go down ever is rent. Okay. And so no matter what happens, rent will either go up or it'll stay stagnant, depending on the discretion of the landlord, right? And so the best thing that I would recommend anyone is to get into a multifamily, at least a two. If they could get at least a two family, it matters. You know why? And pay it. It doesn't matter what it is. Pay over ask. If you can afford it, just get it. Because what's going to happen is your rent that you have will increase as time goes on to keep in line with the cost of interest rate, with the cost of living and the cost of taxes, and that'll supplement your mortgage. Yeah. If you just get a single family, you're just privy to what you could afford, and just has to do with you're the tenant, because you have to pay taxes that go up. You have to succumb to the request of whatever increases happen. Yeah. Electricity costs go up. You got to have it. It's on you. When you have a tenant, when you have a rent coming in, those rents can get increased year to year, and you can make up for it. And it's like a 10% increase might not seem like a lot, but if you're paying $1,200 a month in rent, and your landlord raises it to $1,300, it's still kind of doable. But realize, to the landlord, that's an extra $1,200 per year. That's like adding a 13-month onto your year. Yeah. And realize that's 10%. Your taxes ain't going up 10% in 1 year, but you could raise your rent 10% in 1 year and be fine.
That's a good point. People will pay it.
Well, of course it's and you're going to realize they're going to get rent. They're going to get raised increase in their income. Their income's going to go up. Their minimum wage, or they get raises and stuff's going to go up. So it's going to be affordable. It's just that I'm just telling you from advice. I would always say, condos and townhomes, those are stagnant properties. They're great if you just have no kids and you're single. Yeah. It's like, well, hold up. Let me see. I could pay $1,600 a month without HOA. It's probably about $1,900, and I could get a nice 1-bedroom flat condo, and it'll work. It has transportation, everything, right? Or I can go rent for like $1,600, and have a shoebox and worry about if my landlord's, I got to worry about maybe another tenant. I got to worry about noise. I got to worry about a complaint. I got to tiptoe, can have my own, and when you have your own condo or townhome, you have equity you can borrow against as you pay it down, like you would a home. You could get an equity line on a condo. You can borrow it to, obviously if you save enough money, or depending on how much equity you have, you could sublease your condo out and go buy something else and make profit on your condo. So there's a lot of different strategies and creativeness, and I don't know where you're at. Like I said, if you have no kid, if you're just obviously getting married, or you're a couple, or you're just, you and your partner, and you don't have no kids, and you're just wanting to save money, and you only need like a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom because you want to use one for like an office or something.
Yeah.
That's fine. If it's affordable and you like all the terms and you like where you're living, then do it. And there's nothing wrong with it as long as it's affordable. You're not going to lose money, and you'll always have something that someone will want eventually, and you know what I mean. So you'll have something to flip. But I always recommend just going for a multifamily, going for a 2. You always have an income coming in, and that's it. I mean, if you get there's really no 3s and 4s because they're so overpriced.
The giant duplexes or triplexes and stuff.
Yeah, like a 3-family, or they like 2 with like what we consider a bonus apartment. And bonus apartments are kind of like not legal apartments, but they're legal in the sense that if you have like a family member in it, you could legally have a family member live in it. But there's people who claim that it's my cousin. Yeah, he's on the 3rd floor. It's not really a cousin, but they call him cousin. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But that's just like a guy that's paying like $800 a month for like a loft because you renovated the attic in a great way that now it's a unit. I'm not advocating illegal apartments. I'm just making a point that people do this. Yeah. And there's another supplement of another rent that comes in, or basement apartments happen all the time. I mean, as a realtor, I see it, when I'm going to show homes and stuff, and I'm like, you go into these basements, like, who the hell was living here? Like, no one was living there. That was, you still got spaghetti in the sink and shit with a pot. I'm like, who moved out of here 3 years ago? It's like, come on, bro. Yeah. I've been there, done that, bro. I'm just saying, but like for like investment wise, like I don't know where you plan to like move out of. Are you planning to maybe move out of New York completely and just like go to like another state like that, or are you looking to do like jump over the river to come to Jersey over here?
I promised myself after I got out of the military, I would never live in New Jersey again. Like I would be like Gandalf talking to Gimli saying, I would not go into the mines of Moria unless I had no other choice. And
you're funny when you do that shit, bro.
Thanks, man. If it were up to me, I would have been in Florida like months ago. I would not have wanted to stay in New York for this winter. But one way or another, hell or high water, we or I will be in Florida before the end of this year. But however, although she said she doesn't want to move in summer, understandably, she has 3 little kitties. She has 3 cats that she has to move, and she's got a dog, and she's got a rat back there, and it's going to be hard to do in the summer. So we decided probably September, October, maybe November, we would move. In the meantime, we might try to get a place on Long Island. I think that'd be great because especially with gas now, kind of sucks coming here. So driving the hours.
What are you, Great Neck?
I'm in Massapequa, and she's in kind of like Ozone Park, Brooklyn area.
Okay.
So I would have if we were to move somewhere like in the middle, and she could work on the island, and that would be great. I could get a gym that's pretty close by to wherever we go. I think that'd be good. Just while we have like a trial run of, hey, we're probably good living together, and then we could go run away together to Florida.
Listen, if you decide, I have contacts in Florida, and also in different states. I mean, if you ever decide in South Carolina too, but if you decide to do a Florida move, and you need any kind of a realtor or representative to help you out there, I have the resources within my company and personal friends of mine that are actually out in Florida as realtors, and they can guide you through the process and streamline you anywhere. There's a lot of stuff that's in Orlando, and there's a lot of stuff that if you're looking in that area, that's very hot. But it's been hot for honestly like 3 decades, because there's been a generations of people that have been that have moved out from retirees, and their families that they left behind wind up saying, frick this, we're going out to sea. We're going to live by grandma and grandpa. We're not staying up here no more. And it's been more of the New Jersey and New York people that have done it. You know, it's not like you're not getting people from Massachusetts and Rhode Island that are, let's go to Florida. It's really us crazy heads. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly us. And, it's more so because of what we have. You know, we have all the elements. We have all the wet. We have all 4 seasons, and we have beaches. You got beaches. We got beaches, and when you have a little bit of the beach and you have shorelines, and you can kind of have you can obviously have woods. You can have mountainous. You have obviously anything for fresh water. You have a lot of things you can do in all aspects. Going to Florida, it's you know what I mean. You just got, it's just Everglades, and there's really nothing really going on. You just got, if you're on obviously the coasts. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people make arguments for things like that, but if you need help, I'll help you out. But it'll be cool if you do go out there. I mean, I have family in South Carolina, and I got that moved out there, and it's pretty cool. Taxes are low. Republican states, you know what I'm saying? It's a different way of living, man. We're living. We're getting killed over here in New York, New Jersey, bro.
That's horrible. It sucks. It's like also it's not free. It's not like your own state. Like you can't live freely as you would in like Texas or Florida.
We're tight. The blue states, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. But hopefully as one of the big things I hear Texans and Floridians say to Californians and New York people saying, like, remember why you left and don't vote the same way as you voted in New York, because that's probably why you wound up leaving. Like, oh, it's a good point. And a part of it was just because not being allowed to go to gyms, my mind was not well when I lost like 20, 30 pounds of muscle in 2020 because I wasn't allowed to go to a gym, and I was
you got muscle memory, bro. Don't worry about it. You just modify your diet. Keep your sugars low. Keep your complex carbohydrates at a minimum, but keep them spread out. And don't eat past like 8 o'clock at night, no matter what you do. And always drink a lot of water. And when you wake up, try to get is a good lime and lemon inside, organic lime and lemon juice inside your water. Always keep it Fiji or keep it alkaline water. As long as you do that and you keep your stuff, go hit a nice testosterone cycle, not a heavy one, but enough to just keep you in the game. And dude, your muscles will come right back. You'll be lean as fuck, and your energy and your whole body will just start to morph, bro. You'll be back in honestly 6 to 18 months. Your body will start responding that quick, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the gym's been open for a little while now, and I'm stronger again, but it's just the fact that my diet has not been on point. I'm chunky AF, but yeah, no. Outside of that, I'm doing pretty well. I'm enjoying myself, and a lot of people be loving the Florida though. They'd be. Well, would you ever move, or would you want to wait for the kids to kind of like graduate and whatever before you?
Honestly, where I'm at right now, I mean, we live in a great. We're in Essex County, bro, and this is like really it is arguably everybody's like, I got the best county. Listen, Bergen County is beautiful. Hudson County is great. It's super urban. We're in Essex County. It's a combination of urban and suburban, and it's a very it's a very well balanced and it's so this is the cornucopia of where you'd want to live for everything. You know what I'm saying? It's got like a little bit of everything, and so it's great. But it's I don't want to say it's kind of overextended its stay. If that makes sense. Its own stay. It extended. My daughter, obviously, she's a junior. She's got 2 more to graduate. My son, he's in 5th. He's got 1 more, and then he's into the middle school. Middle school don't matter where he goes. He's okay with that. He just wants to finish elementary. So I'm probably 1 more solid year away from the move.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about we're probably in this summer we're going to take 2 trips of which are going to be probably in Puerto Rico. The first is going to be more vacation / business. The second is going to be for all business and probably possibly buy land on one of the islands over there. But this is just what we are looking into. This is not like a lifetime move. We're not like the Bitcoin family. We're going to sell everything, our T-shirts and everything, and move in with an RV. However, I am going to be purchasing an RV, and so I mean these are just things that you have to kind of make decisions for myself and decisions for a family, kind of like 2 different things. So you kind of got to it's got to be like a group effort. You know what I'm saying? It's a subject. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you 100%.
Obviously I have my father. He's he's obviously I have it, my home. It's a 2-family home I have, and he's obviously my tenant upstairs. He's a tenant. He's my upstairs. I mean, but I can't leave. He's not gonna be like I'm gonna leave and he's gonna stay here. You know what I'm saying? He's got to come too. I got my mom here, but she might not come. But wherever we go, and that's it. I mean, I see a lot of things that are happening in the country, and you ain't running to Mexico, and we're not running to Canada. So it's a tough, and we ain't going across the Atlantic because that's you're trying to go forward. I know that's going backward. Yeah. So it's really like you got to really decide. Florida is wonderful. I'm just really bad with humidity, dude. I will give up a little. I'll have a little bit of humidity in one section of the year and deal with the other seasons, then have humidity for the remote part of the entire year. Yeah. And that's just me for Florida. It's hot and it's very, it's tough, heavy. It's heavy air, man.
I feel you 100% on that. I mean, I'm a little bit more used to it just because I was born in Peru and I spent a lot of time in Kuwait, and even last year when I had, no air conditioning in the place. I'll have some this year. Like I'm pretty used to it, but I think that's part of a superpower of being brown. Like one of the only good things is you could take the heat pretty well.
You got a lot of melanin in your skin. My wife too. I mean, she's 4th generation Italian, but she, obviously I'm 3rd generation Italian, obviously, but 100%. But obviously a lot more Caucasus skin. She's got a lot more melanin in her skin, and so but just how you take sun, but just the air itself, it's still heavy. When I was in Vegas for 3 weeks, it was just for the World Series of Poker. I was out there for some business too. And as a realtor, I made some connections out there to look at property, and that's not out of the woodwork either. I mean, Nevada is obviously it's not a beach friendly place. However, you can take 15 and you can go right from Nevada right through Cali, and you can you're in water quick. I mean, not that that's an issue. I'm just saying if you want to do something like that, I would do Texas before I do Florida, and I'm just not a tornado guy, dude. I'm real picky with that shit. It's really bad over there, bro. And and Texans, I'm not a cowboy. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? Those are I don't know, and like I'm just I'm not. It's too. I don't want to say slow, but country music. I don't country bomb Texas. I'm a ranger.
Yeah, I couldn't do that either. That's not something that I would. At least not all the time.
They're great people, dude. They're awesome. And I have actually friends out here. My wife has friends that she grew up with that they just got up and they were in Marlboro, New Jersey, bro. They were like the homes back in the 90s, the home was like $1.2 million back then.
My God.
And bro, they just took up and left. They sold everything. They did the whole Bitcoin thing. They sold everything they could. They went to Texas. They had matter of fact, the kid had his in Little Italy on Mulberry Street. Amici 2, where his mother and his father's business that he grew up with on Mulberry Street in Little Italy for decades, and his mom owned it throughout all the mob years and all those years. Mom died, dad died, mom died. They were like, you know what? They had the businesses. They sold the one business, they kept the other one, and after a while, they were like, we're out. They were done. They lived in Marlboro. They were like, that's it. They went to Texas. They started their own food truck and realized making food in Mulberry Street in Little Italy. You know, you need to have good Italian food. You know what you're doing if you're on there for many years.
Yeah.
Bro, they went in Texas. They were like fish out of water. People were going. They sold out their food truck. They had to get 2 food trucks. The lines of people were too long. They were like, we have to break it up. They had to hire people. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
They made a mint, and they've been out there. It's been God, years are going by, dude. I can't. You know what's so crazy? I look back and I say, damn, I can't believe, like, we used to talk about like 10 years. Like, it's not. It's like, dude, 9/11 was 21 years ago. Like, it was just like 9/11 was just yesterday. Like when I was in elementary school in like the early 80, 83, 84.
Yeah.
21 years ago was like in the 60s. That was like, oh my God, yous are old. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I look back at 21 years ago, dude, that's not that much change. Like the cars are the same, people are the same. Like 21 years from 1960 something to 1980, that was like a big deal. 21 years ago for now, there's nothing. Like the only thing we got is cell phones.
Yeah, and that's what I tell a lot of people about being able to try to parent nowadays. And also, Fraz, like, yeah, I did. I was yoked AF in 2019, right before 2020 happened. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people, especially parents that are older, where technology didn't really change that much from one generation to the next. Like it went from like, okay, now there's radio, and okay, now there's TV. But with the internet, it was a whole different thing, and no other parent had to parent any other kid in the age of the internet. So I felt bad for, you know, my parents and people that are parenting nowadays. Like how do you do that? Like how do you tell your kids, like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, or this is okay? Where, you know, I had a little taste of it growing up, you know, because I had, you know, AOL Instant Messenger when I was like 10 or 11, and, you know, but
hey, Randy, you got mail.
That was great. You used to have to log on.
Bro, you got mail. You were like, oh shit, what?
Yeah. There's no notification set up.
What's going on here?
Yeah, there was no notification. If you were offline, there was no dings on your phone or that says like, oh, you got a notification, you got mail, you got a message. You had to log on. It was insane.
Yo, 1991, I'm in Cancun. 1991, I'm in Cancun.
You are lean AF. You got some muscle on you,
bro. This was I was 18. I was 18 years old in that picture right there. I was about 195.
Damn.
Long hair, slick back. I had what do you call sideburns? Two gold hoop earrings. Thinking who I was, bro. Now I know who I am. You know?
Yeah.
I've evolved. Oh shit.
We both have a little bit. It's been interesting to see people over the years, like how, especially older people, like if you talk to someone that's in like their 50s or 60s and they look at someone at 30 who's like, I'm not where I want to be yet. It's like, dude, you're 30, you're a kid. You know, the same way I would look at someone who's 20, like you have loads of time going on. And, you know, a lot of people said like, oh, you have such a big bag, I only have a couple millions. Like, dude, if you have a couple million OMI and
they're 19 or they're 20.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold up. Wait, so you're telling me that if you hold it for 17 years, you'll be my age, but you'll be a trillionaire, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a trillionaire at my age.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I'm very jealous of, and a lot of people that don't necessarily understand that how young 30 is. How old are you? You're in your 40s, right? 40.
I am 48, bro.
Yeah. So
I feel like I'm 35. You know, I don't feel 30, but I don't feel 40. I mean, nothing's changed. Like I just feel the same. Like my body's the same. I'm strong. I'm fast. I don't feel 31. I'm going to beat somebody's ass. To be honest with you, I'm going to mosh the shit out of you. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah, a lot of days I feel like I'm 16. I'll be like playing video games. I'll be going to the gym. I'll be like, oh, she's kind of cute. You know, look at girls. Like I feel young, and there's a lot of people that don't understand that even if you only have 2 million OMI or 1 million OMI, not only if it hasn't happened, at 10 cents, you have $100,000, which most people don't get in the world. Like it took me a long time of grinding to get $100,000. That was one of the hardest things I ever did.
Well, they say getting to 100,000 is hard, but once you get over 100,000, you get to 100, you get to 1 million quick. And
Yeah.
honestly, and just from investment standpoint, you have to know there's a little luck, don't get me wrong, but you have to kind of know what you're doing, because there's people who like don't have any money on Monday, and then like on Friday they have 1 million, and then on Monday they're broke. And I using that analogy because in the entertainment industry, this is what's gone on, but a lot of obviously actors and music industry, and artists and stuff, they got their contracts, they got their money, they're selling, and then they have all this money, and then because they buy liabilities, they buy cars, they buy food, they buy clothes. Those are liabilities. You know what I'm saying? And if you're smart, and you know how to invest your money, and you know what you're doing, kind of need people in your corner. And a lot of people who don't have money, they don't have people in their corner already because they never had a reason to have the people in their corner, but they're just throwing a bag of money, like Mike Tyson, all these people. That's why. That's that's the reason why. But the best thing to do is you don't spend your money. You need to borrow, spend the borrowed money. That's what you need to do. Spend borrowed money.
Yeah. Agreed.
Don't spend the money. Create the debt and spend the debt. Spend the loan, because it's not taxable. But what was that question? And the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes.
So
yes.
Oh yeah, play World Series of Poker this year?
They do it every year from May to July. And because of COVID this year of 2021, they didn't do it at all in May to July. They pushed it all the way into the end of September to the middle of November when I went. But now they're kicking it back off again. So it's kind of like a short year in May, to July again. Yes. And I'll be there. Main event, it's a good question. I'm going to be playing probably like some of the earlier events, which I'm 100% sure I'm going to cash. I just don't know how much, how deep I run.
To qualify for that?
You can go online. WSOP has event qualifiers that you buy in for X amount of dollars, and for every X amount of people that enter, this is how many. For every 100 people that enter, a free seat's given out.
Okay.
For every 10,000 people that enter, a free seat's given out. Depends on the entry. Because it's $10,000 for a seat.
Yeah.
And they're constantly running the events. Those qualifiers to get a free seat in the WSOP. They run 24/7. They keep running. You just got to go on WSOP.com.
Yeah. Okay. So I was to say, because that's I remember you there for like a couple weeks.
3
last
weeks.
year. Yeah. Which is great. If because this is happening in May, June, that area, will you be at DesignerCon this year?
It's a good question. I don't know. I really listen. Look, it's really just it's not monetary, because obviously I can do that. It's not. It's just a matter of, it's really about the clock, bro. It's about scheduling. That's just like this year. Like there was like, oh yeah, are you guys gonna be in what was it in February? What was the con, or what was their meet? I
it was like Las Vegas Con or something.
Oh yeah, it was the LV Con. I just couldn't do it, dude. You know what I mean? There's just so much going on.
Same. Like nobody else. Like a lot of us had plans at DesignerCon. Yeah, we got to come in February, but because the market was down, like nobody came.
And you guys coming out, like I'm leaving Vegas. I got a bag of money. You guys are all friggin' bagged up because you obviously, in October, November, we were pumping. I mean, Secret Rare. Spider-Man was pumping. Walt's coming out. Like everything was crazy.
It was ridiculous.
That was insane. You know what I mean? And OMI was up and starting. We were all like, we're going to the moon. We're talking 3 cents by March. Remember?
Yeah.
And here we are. Here we are, March. 3 pence of a penny, not 3 cents.
Yeah. Had we gotten the, 2 exchanges in February, plus, the fact that maybe Russia doesn't invade Ukraine.
Yeah, well, we could talk woulda, coulda, all we want, but the fact remains, bro. The fact remains, it doesn't matter what OMI is right now. You know what is fact? Because we speculated about the price. You know what's fact, though? We have X amount of billions of OMI that's been burned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 33 billion,
you
I
know what I'm
think.
saying? So it doesn't matter how much it's worth and what goes on. The fact is that we keep burning and we keep burning and we keep burning. And the supply keeps going down and it keeps dwindling. And as time goes on, it's going to keep dwindling.
Yeah.
The only thing that stops the burn is when the actual drops stop. And if the drops stop, Vivi stops. If Vivi stops, then the industry stops because Vivi's everything. So what are we looking at? So if you're talking about Vivi stopping and the burn stopping, the only reason that's going to happen is something that's going to be doom and gloom. Well, if you're talking about doom and gloom and bunkering down, the last thing we're talking about is internet and Vivi and NFTs. We're talking about getting friggin' 50-pound bags of rice and grain. We're talking about getting pallets of water. We're talking about getting shelter. We're talking about getting wood, matches, seeds. Let's get real. That's what I'm saying. So if one's, a factor or the other, dude, everything's going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? This ain't, apocalypse and we're getting zombied up and shit. And like, this is, everybody talks, they got war. Listen, what happens? What's going to happen? I don't know. What could happen? We can have a couple more people come into the game, more pawns enter the game, and what happens? More sanctions. Someone doesn't follow nothing. Stupid Biden goes in there, drops some troops here. They get killed. We are like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Then we start putting naval ships inside the Persian Gulf. Somebody lets out some kind of bomb. Oh, they bombed. They blame it on somebody because it's a narrative they're going to create because it's a story that we're told. It's not really a story that happens all the time. So then what happens? Markets dip, 1,000-point drops a day. The Dow goes to 24K, 21K. NASDAQ down to freaking 10K. S&P down there. I'm just making a point, right? Yeah. Bitcoin drops to 23K, like this ridiculous, and then they blame it because it's war. It's justified, and then it's okay. Yeah. Now, forget about that. I digress, but let's just say that happens. Okay, so what happens? Where do we go? Another 3K? Okay, 20K. Bitcoin's 20K. Cardano's 30 cents. The XRP's 35 cents. Everything's down. Vivi's in the 3 zeros and a 2. We go stupid. Let's just get ridiculous. Who cares? Okay. Amazing. All right, so what? Gas is $8 a gallon, $9 a gallon, $10 a gallon. Okay, who cares? All right, so what? What's going to happen? Listen, landlords still ain't going to get paid rent. It's just going to be COVID 2.0 because they were not getting paid rent there. Now it's just monetarily they can't afford it, so they're not going to pay. And what's going to happen? They're still going to have the things that are going to extend it from the governments not allowing the evictions to happen. So that's good.
Here's what I also think will happen. When originally COVID first came out, I was very concerned, not of the disease necessarily, but just because like 2 weeks before they had that whole everyone stay home, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, I had just put $30,000 into creating the Chavez project, that new company. And what happened? Every single person went on unemployment and they were getting checks from the government, and Pokemon went through the heckin' roof. If that like COVID 2.0 or whatever happens and people are on unemployment, they'll be getting checks from the government. And maybe instead of Pokemon cards this time, they go into NFTs. And what are the best NFTs to go into?
What are the cheapest, most user-friendly NFT to get into? Click and go. Buy now. Go on Marketplace. Buy now.
You don't have to understand crypto and to get a MetaMask and to wrap your Ethereum in it.
You don't need to have ETH. You don't need to have ETH. It's a credit card to gems to buy.
Yeah.
It's the most user-friendly online. But just getting back to what I was saying, what you were saying.
Yeah.
In this whole narrative play out, and we have the worst of the worst. This is saying we have the worst of the worst, right? What happens? Okay, so it's cheap, but Bitcoin could still be 20,000. It's still expensive. Who's buying?
A lot of rich people.
The people that are going to say, it's the blood in the street story. The Rockefeller said that's when you buy.
Yeah, I've said before that. What happens when markets tank? Well, the poor tend to stay poor, and the rich tend to stay rich. It's just the middle class. What happens with them? A lot of them become poor because they see their savings start to tank, and like, oh, let me sell because just idiocy and or ignorance, I should say, maybe not idiocy. And what happens? A lot of the rich people come in and scoop up what they know is going to come back. I think Jeremiah Aoyang said, like, even if you don't believe in Vivi, believe in the IP that backs it up. Believe in Disney, Marvel, and DC, and they're not going to let their babies go to zero. It's just not going to happen.
We got Universal. We have so many other, like, we always pick up Disney and all that. There's so many other ones. If we didn't have, just say we didn't have Disney, we wouldn't have Marvel. It's not gonna have Marvel without Disney. So that's that. And DC's DC. That we got it. I'm taking away that stuff. Like I didn't come into this game thinking Disney and Marvel. I'll be honest with you. That's what this narrative has been in Vivi. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't like it because I love it. But that seems like that's all the talk is, and that's what the aura that wraps around Vivi. It has to do with basically what's getting dropped. It's basically comics and collectibles that are all in that same realm of the MCU and the MCU and the MFU and the FU. I don't want to hear that no more. I came into this game not having not one inclination of Disney and or Marvel being involved. I came into this game because I believe that a monstrosity multi-billion-dollar company like Pokemon was coming aboard, and Pokemon Go, and I know the influence of my kids, and I know that my friends, older kids now, but they were younger at the time, and how much of an impact that had on them and generations that led to now. And I'm like, wow, that could be a part of this. And they're not. I had to make sure that they weren't in any other thing. I started doing research on Alcon, and I'm like, there's no way. Then I started looking up David, and I'm like, David Younes. I'm like, wait a minute, he's little Mr. Pokemon himself too. I'm like, hold on 1 second. That's not just Alcon. This guy's like, he's like got, bro, a warehouse full of Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, he has to get.
I'm like, stuff. Bro, what are you create? This is insane. Now we just get Marvel. We hear around with Disney. We're seeing Mickey Mouse all over the place. That's what I'm trying to say. So what I mean is the inspiration that comes from an investor, because you're not supposed to bring emotion in. For me, it came through that method of what I believe Pokemon was going to do for this app and what it was going to do for this company and the way that the tokenomics is set up. So everything else that comes about out of this is like I'm going to Spider-Man movies thinking about Vivi. That ain't right. That wasn't even a part of my thing. But that's what the way it is right now. Yeah. So dude, we're so fortunate that what we have is what we have. We got some good stuff coming, man. I can't wait till this shit happens, because once we get the finalization of the license agreement and the contracts are set out and we start going through the Pokemons, and then we got the characters and all the Pokemon characters start coming out, and then it's this for season 1, then it's Gen 1 and we start doing generations and seasons as generations, yeah. And then you know what happens, right? Then just like a year, maybe 2 years from now, we start getting gamification that comes in. And now obviously the gamification aspect of the infrastructure, the actual gamification infrastructure is going to be even modified 2.0. Oculus is going to go up one level. Apple glasses come out. Now, if we get an Apple Vivi, no, you didn't just open that up from over there, did you? That has to come from the fridge, Luch. That's why I put it over there, so you don't open too. No, now it's too late now.
Why? I like my warm green tea. I like warm green tea.
Anyway, we are going to have. Can you imagine an Apple and Vivi announcement?
I mean, we know. So this is something that I feel like people are really underestimating, is because we're already partnered with Apple and Google just because we're on their phones, on their Google Play Store, on Apple iOS Store. So we already have our foot in the door for years now. And with David saying that we talk to Apple like at least once a week, there's no question in my mind that further applications of the app or further applications of Apple glasses or whatever aren't going to happen. It's no question. It's going to happen. It's just a when. But for me, that won't be a huge surprise. I'll be like, when I see that announcement, oh, nice. And then obviously when I go on stream, I'll be like, we have Apple, as if I didn't expect that for the last year and a half, as if I haven't been expecting that for the last 12 months.
You know, I look at Apple. I look at Apple in such a unique way because it's not like I don't look at Apple like I look at Amazon I don't want to say that. I don't want to look at Apple like I look at Microsoft or Intel, because I look at Intel as semiconductor processor. That's all they're going to do. Microsoft, yeah, they kind of got into gaming, but it's their software. We know what they do. It's Windows, and that's what we got. But Apple came into this game upon the PC. It didn't come in. It came in with its own software, and that's how they obviously had issues. But it was the PC, and they try to modify that. But what did they do? They completely morphed the company from one to the other, and now you think Apple, you think iPhone, you don't think Apple computer, right? And so when you think about Apple for the phone. This is starting to get old.
Yeah.
What is something that Apple doesn't have right now? Apple don't have game. They don't have no console.
Yeah.
They don't have a gaming. So it's like they have a Play Store, but they sell everything that has to sell on their platform, but they don't have a gaming center themselves. They have Apple TV, but they don't have an actual gaming center. And so that, I believe, is the next jump for them. And I believe that they roll the entire Appleverse and the entire Apple glasses and the whole NFT space, including Vivi, along with it. And you're going to hear it first, bro, because it makes sense. If it makes sense, it makes dollars.
And
Wait, we got ideas here. Hold on. We got ideas.
I got ideas here.
Get up a little bit so you can go ahead.
One idea I think they would do. I heard you guys talking about VR.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard. I'm not in the best place right now, but it's very hard to
come up. Yeah.
It's very hard to have a company like Apple make a console, because they're not known really for that. They're more for like their phones, other stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. But you know how you guys were talking about like Apple and VR, right?
Yes.
Then the next thing that they could make is an Apple headset.
Kind of like the HTC Vive or like the Facebook Oculus Quest.
Yeah, they could make the next generation of VR, Apple VR, a whole new VR headset. They might not even have to do a VR headset. They could go for something even better with the Apple glasses. And have that even be a VR headset. Have something separate.
Yeah, have something separate. Yeah, thanks, Blue. So you can spend more of my money on your gaming. Anyway, so that's why he wants them. But 10 years old. 10 years old right there.
Good mind. He's got a good mind.
He's got 10 million OMI.
Nice. Good for him. To build
he's got 8 years until he can touch it. So what do you think that's going to be?
8 years. So we'll be at 2030. I think $10. So that would be, so it's $100 million. Oh my God. That would be $100 million. Yeah. So building on your pros, you have Sony that has spent a couple $2 billion grabbing Bungie, the creators of Halo, to be able to build their metaverse, and Microsoft, who you said, they have kind of, Xbox, but there are a lot of software, and they spent $69 billion. Everyone comment nice down below for the 69.
Yes.
To buy Activision Blizzard to build their metaverse. And again, to build on your premise, if anyone thinks that Apple is just sitting on the bench and waiting for the bus and just letting this big opportunity pass them by,
that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel about Pokemon. You think they're just gonna sit back and just let this big they did something that no other company ever did. They did Pokemon. They did the most augmented reality, virtual reality game in history. No one has ever done that. No one has ever created a game like that. There's never been a game like Pokemon Go in history, where it's tied to the demographic of a map of real life.
Only Pokemon could do that, because Harry Potter, Wizards Unite, they tried to do that. It didn't work. And Harry Potter's a huge freaking business. That's a huge freaking
multi-billion-dollar franchise. And I'm telling you, that's why Pokemon just going to sit here and say, hey, guys, have fun. Let us know how it turns out for you. Come on, bro. And you got Alcon, the man, of the guy behind it. Come on, get out of here.
So I think
just for that, get some more cheeses.
I finished that. Oh, I am. Whew. But yeah, like there's no way that Apple just sits on the sidelines and watches this opportunity pass them by.
Bro, they are the sideline, bro.
Yeah, and it's not like they're a small company like, oh, we can't afford it right now. We'll wait for the next opportunity. They're a multi-trillion-dollar company. Like they have reserves. They have people dedicated to this. There's
hundreds of billions of dollars cash right now.
Yeah, easily. Like this is ridiculous. And again, that's also something that would propel Nintendo into be a multi-hundred billion dollar company. Because I think right now they might not even be a billion. Just Nintendo by themselves, at least their stock, they might not even be $100 billion company. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're like 60 to 80 million. But it depends how the market's been. The market has not been good. They are currently a $59 billion market cap. So yeah, no way would Nintendo take this opportunity and just let it pass them by. Yeah. There's a lot. One sends us. Yeah, I think absolutely simple. I think it's either we stay down here or we go below and we start to burn instead of 1 billion a week, 10 billion a week, whatever, or we get on a good exchange and the price.
It's all dependent on a couple things.
Yeah.
The narrative that gets put out, not the reality, the narrative that gets put out. If the narrative comes out good, the reality is better.
Yeah.
But if the narrative comes out bad, the reality is it's irrelevant because the narrative is, if it's bad, the reality can never be better than the narrative. I mean, the reality is obviously hidden. If the narrative is bad, we don't know what the hell we're dealing with because it's just a story. But if the narrative is good, it's never bad in the background, ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to wait until the news becomes like we want peace talks. We want to hear there was a good meeting that got taken place between these countries. We want handshakes. We want, ceasefire engagements. We want that kind of knowledge. We want that kind of narrative. We don't want to hear nothing about anything that's going on now that just multiplies into something worse. I'm telling you, bro, the market's just going to keep reflecting it. And you're going to just see OMI's just going to continually go down. Bitcoin's going to keep going down. And Bitcoin, the problem with Bitcoin going down, not because it's already tied to alts. The problem with Bitcoin going down is because Bitcoin is the highest leveraged coin in the market. And unfortunately, it's the first to get liquidated once those stop losses hit. It starts to cascade because when it drops through a certain Bollinger Band, you start seeing other tiers start to close out, and they're going to start hitting more stop losses, and those other accounts start to get fucking liquidated, and then all these leveraged positions just become water. And now you're dealing. You could drop 6K in 2 days. All just because of that cascading effect. And alts follow, bro. And I'm telling you right now, you get a 4 to 6K drop in one day. It falls off a cliff, which we've had them. We call them flash crashes, but they're really off the cliff drops.
No,
it's 100% guaranteed, bro. We can see 000. We can see a 000 OMI. I know it sucks to hear it, and obviously it's not going to have that effect because we're going to be burning a lot more.
Yeah,
and we can afford more if we want a DCA. It's just going to suck for our value because I'm selling.
Yeah, no,
I didn't sell when it was 0075, 0073. I'm going to sell when it's 3 zeros and 8.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Nobody's selling at that point. It's lunacy. I just wish I had more to liquidate so I can buy more OMI at that price if we get there.
You just said? You see what you just said? I wish I had more to liquid. More what? Right. NFTs.
More assets.
And right, exactly. And that's what's going on in the market. That's exactly what everybody's doing on the marketplace. That's when you start seeing floors drop, and you're like, how could a secret rare Walt be 20,000? How could a secret rare Spider-Man be 18? Because of what you just said. You see OMI dropping, you're like, what can I liquidate to get more OMI?
Yeah.
But what you're not realizing is that OMI you can buy it And guess it can still go. OMI could still go lower. You could still lose. You could still liquidate your NFT, and the NFT is a good asset. It's like holding real estate. It may lose a little bit of value because other people thinking the way you do, and they're going to be like, I got to sell because I got to get more OMI. But OMI could still do the dip. The NFT ain't going to do no dip. It's not like it doesn't have a market. It only has a market based on the floor price because of people dropping the floors lower than the lowest floor. But as long as everybody stays at the low floor, the NFT doesn't move its value. It won't lose its value at all. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, agreed. And that's it. Kind of like bittersweet. Like again, I want OMI that low because it will be able to go and burn a lot more, and I can get a lot more for a lot cheaper. But in order to get more OMI, I do have to liquidate some NFTs and some other things, and that's how I would get it. And it's like, okay, well.
And it's not even about liquidating the NFTs. It's liquidating NFTs that you might have paid more for. So now you're at a loss based on what you paid because you have to get now you're like, well, wait a minute. If I'm selling at 50% of what I paid for it and I'm buying OMI at a 50% discount, that made no sense. I just didn't have to buy the NFT to begin with. I could have just bought OMI there. I'm at the same position.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying?
You have to be.
It's the same thing.
You have to realize what you paid for it and all that, and you have to say like, okay, well, but if you're only taking well, let's say you bought an NFT for like $10,000 when OMI was at 0.005, and the NFT you could only get, let's say, $7,000 for it, you lose 30%, but OMI's lost 50%. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So people do have to calculate that as well. Just because you sell it at a loss doesn't mean.
Yeah, if you got but in reality, think about it. Who's going to pay? You're saying if you had something at 10,000, now you're going to sell it at 7. You have to realize something. You're late to the party because if you sold it when you bought it at 10,000 and you sold it at 7,000, but now those other ones that are in your range, they're all at like 7,000 themselves, and they're not selling. You can't just because it's 7,000 doesn't mean you could sell it and get that trade off. You're late to the party. You're going to have to go to like 5,000 to make a difference to get that sell. And there you are. You're at like I said, you're at the 50%, 50 drop.
I mean, for most of us, all of us who have bought any type of NFT, it doesn't really matter what it was. If we bought any NFT in January, we on paper, we lost a bit of money. But for those of us that have bought in like October or November, and again, which isn't even like old for some of us buying stuff in like March or April of last year. Some of us have done that and we made like 10-20x our money. But even in like, October, November, we've still probably doubled, if not tripled our money. We just went so high so quickly in January, and we had to come down a little bit from there. I'm not crazy. I'm not going crazy. And like I said, it's easier for us to look at the red, to look at the blood in the streets because we've been here before. We've been through a couple of pandemics and black swan events, and it's just another one. We know it'll go back up. Down on Vivi. We're just late. I still think we're early though. I still think just because you are down currently, let's say you got it in January, I still think we're very early. I think it's just we bought at the top of one of the tops that we'll see. We'll go down, the next top will be higher. And I guarantee you the next low after we pump is going to be higher than January.
It's a higher low. I mean, and just trust me, it's all in perspective because where I came into this game, I'm still actually up. And that's why when I don't want to say I liquidated like almost 25 million OMI, bro, to get I had a really, really good opportunity to pick up some really good gems for cheap.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of people, a couple of monster whales in the game that had just a boatload of gems, whatever they liquidated. And they were all healthy gems, nothing from stolen, any kind of bot shit. And I was in a position where I was like, you know what? There's some crazy items in the market that I can get right now for a good price. And over a little while, I had a little over 100 million, and I went down to like almost 80 million OMI. Actually, I was in the high 70s actually, and now I'm obviously, because of a couple of things and a couple of sales, I'm back over 100 now. But that was just the opportunity, and I was very fortunate because I got obviously you know, I was getting OMI off at between 6.8 and 7.6, 7.4, 7.5, and dumping OMI at that price. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't because of any reason, just because I was able to get gems cheap because of that rate I was getting it at. It was unbelievable. And I'm like, if I buy that, I'm going to get it at that rate. I'm like giving me it, because I'm basically getting the NFT at half price. Then I'm getting, you know what I mean? That's how you have to look at it. And I figured if I'm going to get the NFT at half price, there's no way that that OMI is going to double, because that's what that NFT would have cost me then if I stayed in OMI.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to hit 1.6 soon. So I'm like, you know what? The hell with it. Let me just do it. And I'm very fortunate what I got. And then I only sold just that much to get all my OMI back, and now I got all those NFTs basically
so cool.
free. You know, bro, my timing is, you know, I'm very blessed, dude. I'm some humble. I can't say enough prayers. I just, you know, we step in shit sometimes, and you know, you got to just, you know, run your shoe on the water, bro, and just keep walking. It's one of them, bro. It's just the way it is. You know, we got a good opportunity getting into a freaking awesome coin. Everybody listening got an excellent opportunity. Everybody that's got in and holding, you know, we all take the loss together and we all take the gains together. So this isn't like a, you know, all the whales are lucky. They don't. How are we lucky? You know, you know what I mean? We're down $260,000. You know what I mean? From like less than a couple months ago. That's $250,000. People, more money than people haven't maybe will ever have in their whole life. We just lost that in just a couple months, and that's just value. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, you know, it's just what it is. You know, we're kind of like seasoned and we understand it, and it's just what it is. But when you gain that 260 back or that 400K back in like a week because of a crazy news or whatever, we're happy, but we're still not odd. You know, we're like, yeah, because we just got a lot of value back, but it's still not like you know what I'm saying? It ain't like a 10 cent or 20 cent moment. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I will say that when OMI does pump next, even if it only gets to 0.0084, like, you know, our previous like resistance, I will probably liquidate a couple million there, just because if it does crash back, or not crash, if it does correct back down again to 0.005, you know, whatever, I want to have some money to be able to go and take advantage of that dip. And obviously, I'm okay with it if I do liquidate 0.0085, and then we break through that resistance. We go to like 2 cents or whatever. I'd also sell like maybe another million OMI there, just to have.
Listen, trade accordingly, bro. I'm not gonna. And I've done what I did for particular reasons, and I'm here to transparently saying it. I have no problem with it. You know, and I was very fortunate that when I sold the OMI, what I sold to get the cheap gems that I got them at. And what I bought, what I had to buy with, and now what I sold the NFTs to get what I have bought back. I was just fortunate that OMI went down. Yeah. Now when I'm buying back, not only am I getting it at half price, I'm getting it at half price on top of the half price, like a quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not.
It went down on top of it. So I'm not only am I paying half of what I have to spend for it because of what I just sold. It's not half the price. It's you know, at least 40, 35, 40%. It's still cheap. And and I still got cash on the side. Like I'm thinking if this goes, I'm hoping if we get into the low 2s, 2.1 to 2.3 range, I'll probably do another 50K in there, just because. And then if it goes obviously in the triple 0, 1, if it goes if it goes a 2 zeros and a 1, we get down to 1/10. You know, then it'll be probably maybe 20, 25K. Yeah. You know, I have to see. Depends, you know. It depends on how fast it goes. You know, and it depends on, like I said, the narrative, how things are building. If I see some shit really happening, like another country gets involved and starts to see, like, I don't want to say World War III shit, but if it starts to get like dirty, I might liquidate. I'm not gonna lie, I might liquidate. Because I could. You know, all right, so what? I go down 20. It's okay, so what? I'll lose 20 million, 25 million. It'll still be 75 million. Won't be a bad thing. But guess what? At least I'll have some money on the side in case we go 000 shit, but some shit pops off. Just saying. I'll buy back. I have no problem with it. News or not.
I mean, the 000s,
I got in at 000, bro. Very, very beginning, bro.
Yeah. Now if we ever get down triple zeros again, I would probably sell most, if not all my NFTs, because I told people I would never sell the alligator Lokis. I would have no issue trading some of them, but I would not sell those. But everything else, like I mean, even if NFTs go down by, let's just say half of what they are now. Okay, well, that would mean OMI would have to go down by like 90%. In order to go down to get to the
90 from where it is now.
Because 90, take off 90% from here, and you're at
triple zero. You're 3.
Oh, 3. Oh, that's a good point. No, disregard. Well, either way, because to get cut in half at 50% would be 0.0021, and to be cut 90% from here would be
0.005.
Yeah, no, disregard. So 50% is that, and 50% of that would be, because to go down 75% of here, it'd be like 0.001. So
3 zeros in a look. If you go down 90%, you have it's 10% less than 100%.
Yeah,
you're under where you 0.008.
Four.
You're gonna go down even more than that. I mean, I don't know. What are you saying? Because first of all, what are you doing? You're talking about liquidating an NFT.
If we go to triple zeros,
I wouldn't honestly. I wouldn't. I'm right now. If you're even considering that right now, after we leave this year and you wake up tomorrow morning, liquidate immediately, bro, and don't even worry about it. So if you have a plan to wait until that happens for you to dictate, don't do it now. I'm dead serious. Do it now.
The only reason why I wouldn't is because if we go down to the triple zeros and the NFTs have gone down the same amount, and it wouldn't really be worth it. It'd be like the same thing.
There's no way that the NFTs can go down that same amount. Because you know why? Because if you realize that kind of ratio, you know what would have to happen? Think about how many gems you would need, because every sell there's a buy. Yeah. So think about all the NFTs losing all that value, all that much more value in gems would have to purchase those NFTs. So you still need buyers to buy those gems.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Where the hell is all that money coming from? No one's doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bro. Just relax. You get all crazy. Do you have any other thing outside of the NFTs and assets like cards and stuff? I know you had other stuff that you could still liquidate, like any kind of like money pokies or anything?
I mean, I sold pretty much everything else.
Heavy hitting stuff.
Yeah, I sold pretty much everything else. Yeah. So just because I wasn't expecting the markets go down, bear market, World War III, plus the delays on exchanges, kind of that triple threat, that perfect storm for us to go down. I wasn't really expecting it, which again, I'm okay with us going down because I'm in it for the long term and seeing those burns. But yeah, I have next to nothing else to liquidate. So I would debate about maybe if I wouldn't go into like contract, I would do maybe some type of private investigating or something like that, just to get some more liquid stuff. Have to take a little bit off of the YouTube, but like I said, I'm completely fine with that. Just because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff of what I'm doing is for animals. It is for charity. Yeah,
I mean, you can always liquidate or compromise your Patreon assets as you go. You could do. There's always something that you could modify if needed. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars either. I mean, think about how long we're going to be here for. We're going to be in here for another 6 months. I mean, think about it. 6 months of drops and 6 months of drops that are coming. That's a lot. I mean, no, I'm saying the price don't change, just where we're at right now.
Yeah.
6 months of drops just where we're at right now, bro. That's a lot of burn. That's a lot of burn. And if we get some heavy hitters where they could be like 600 mil or 300 mil to 600 mil dailies on those particular decent drops, or even one bill drops one day. I mean, in 6 months, that could take another at least 8 to 14% more OMI off the table. And I think we already have 16 to 17, don't we?
Yeah. So we do about 1 billion per week burn, And if we go, even if, let's say, in 4 months, the price stays the same, if it doesn't go down and we're the same price, we're not only going to probably about double in usership, but there's going to be more drops per week. So we would double. We would do about 2 billion OMI burn each week. Then that's if
and that's only 4 months. I'm saying 6. I'm going the extreme.
So 6 months. Yeah. Let's say we do 2.5. Let's say we do we do 3 billion each week of burn. And that's if the price stays the same. If it gets cut in half, that's 6 billion a week.
Don't even just do stay the same. Let's not even get worse, but let's not get better either.
All right, so 3 billion per week. Let's say at the end of 6 months, or let's be in September, the last 3 months in December, that's 12 weeks. That's 36 billion. That what we did over in the last 14 months, we would do in 3 months. We'd do another 30. Yeah, it's nuts.
Thank you.
It's insane. 36.
And wait. And guess what? That's with the price staying the same.
Yeah.
If you modify that price down 10%, 50%, or 75%, like in a ridiculous, crazy, bro, you increase that by factors of 2 or 3. So what number is that now?
So if we decrease the price by 50%,
60 billion. Can you imagine?
That'd be 72 billion OMI burn. We would have
just say 60 billion if it doesn't even take that big of a drop. 60 billion. We're doing, bro. We didn't even hit 2023 yet. What the hell's going on? So
by December 31st, 2022, we would have over 100 billion OMI burn from that reserve wallet. But although at some point we would burn less from the reserve wallet, and we will start burning from the circulating supply. Right. When we have, and that's what really matters. That's the stuff that really does affect the price a lot. Obviously. Yeah. So it's a win-win. We win either way.
See, talk to Pags, bro. You get silver lining every day.
Yeah.
I told you, man. It's all math. Everybody's like a day-to-day guy. Like they want to win. They want to play the lottery on Monday and win by Thursday. Like they don't have time. Like it's like,
yeah.
You know why? Because like I said, because of communication. We're so you're 7 days a week YouTube, and Cabell's 7 days a week, 8 times a day, 9 times a day streaming. Forster's like he upped his game to like 3 times a week, 4 times. I'm just even Taps and Sleeping Comics, dude. Every Asian Dan, bro. We got and there's more content creators coming out, and it's insane because we're all talking about the same stuff, and everybody's getting questions, and we're too privy to knowledge, and unfortunately, communication's somewhat of the evil of the reason why we're all worried because we know too much. Back in the day, when there was only one TV in the household, no phones, no computers, no nothing. And when you heard about the stock market going down, there was a stockbroker. He made one phone call to the house. It was the head of the house. Hey, what's going on? I'll take you in my office. That guy talked. They made one phone call, and a decision was made, and that's it. And nothing mattered. Everybody, every second of the day getting a notification. Oh, shit. Randy's on. Let me hear. Yeah. What do you say? Oh, shit. Who's selling? Wait, what do you say? Oh, my God. Wait. Sean said the Spider-Man's going. What? Wait. Oh, no. I'm going to. Who's going in the marketplace? I'm just saying, like, we're going crazy. We're like information society,
And I think I love that too, because we have we do have this constant information feed. And back in the day, what we had to rely on might not have been the best intelligence. Like over a few years ago, where a lot of people,
it never was. It never was. It was never. In fact, it was totally out of your favor. Because the people whose favor it was in were the people that had to get the money from you into their pockets. That was the Wall Street world back then.
Yeah,
100%.
And I just look at people like these analysts on CNBC or whatever. I noticed it with Tesla automatically. These analysts, they were maybe good at judging values of car companies, and then when they were told to something that was out of their depth, cover Tesla, which is more of a software company, and they just couldn't do it. It's like people finally realized then that, these analysts are maybe only good maybe at one thing, if that. and we have the same amount of information as they do. We might get it a day or two later than everyone else, but we have the same amount of information, and there's a lot of people that are a lot smarter than the analysts that the media chooses to cover it. So
Bro,
that's where
they don't want the smart guys on TV. They don't want the smart analysts on TV. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Because they'll tell the truth, and everybody they don't want the good news going out. They want the stupid robots, the sheep, to dictate the narrative. To read off the teleprompter. Yeah, and today we have, there's gonna be a drop in the money. Bonds aren't doing well, and you know why? Because they're reading. They want that stupid guy that just reads and says, "Okay, I want my check at the end of the month."
Yeah.
They don't want the smart guy going in there being like, I can't attest that. That's actually not happening.
Yeah.
Now you guys are wrong. I'm not saying that because that's not true. Because that's a smart guy. They don't want that.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I've seen it. I've seen it in NFTs as well. Like, there's a lot of people had pulled their money out and had sold the Steamboat Willie Ultra Rare just because it didn't get a first edition stamp. It's like, okay, or first appearance stamp. Okay, that never had a first appearance or first edition stamp, so nothing was taken away from it. That thing had never. That was never had something and then it was taken away. That's always been the same. It hasn't changed. And when you take something like that, which is I think outside of Lego, the only other time where Disney had given the license out to Steamboat Willie, the first ever 3D digital thing that it's had, it's very significant. And I don't even have an ultra rare of that.
With the music.
Yeah, with the music. It's insane. So, when other people ask me about other collectibles, like say Radix about Black Panther, I think that's kind of a double whammy because that was the first. I think either him or Luke Cage was the first black superhero in Marvel, and then also you had Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace. He had died, and you do have that kind of, like I said, double whammy there. Did you get any of the Black Panther statues?
So that same question came up, like you're asking me now. With the Black Panther, when I didn't get any Storms, so as of right now, I don't have any Black Panther. But guess what?
What?
You got to get Storm, bro. Really? Yeah, bro. And you know what I had to do? I had to go unload the Storm late. If I got him earlier, I would have saved some money. I'll be honest with you. But at the moment, right now, it's a no on the Panther. It doesn't mean it's a no in life. Yeah. One of my good friends, Chris, he's 19 years old. He's down in Florida. Dude, the kid works. He's a workaholic. He's a great kid. I helped him get a couple sets, and he collected this Black Panther all on his own. He's got all I think he's got an ultra rare. It's like a 40, 44, whatever. And everything's like 50s and 40s and everything in the whole set. Awesome set. And and it's just a set I don't have. I mean, that's there's some people that they pull the trigger on something. And I didn't pull the trigger on the Storm, and now I did. And when I got the Storm, I got her, and maybe I'll get into Black Panther, but I don't have them now. And I sometimes I pass on items. I pass on a lot of items. A lot of people come to me, hey, Mr. Pags, you got check it out. We got this low mint. There's a lot of comics I just don't participate in because they're just not grailish, or they're just there are some that I do, and when I do, what I do because I have in the marketplace. You see what I got. That's the reason why. It's only those as particular ones I get, and there's some I just don't. And it's not always what I like because there's a lot of things that I like that sometimes aren't. That Eve with the one with the girl biting the apple with the snake.
Yeah, the inked one, the one that had the physical one.
Only if you had the NFT, you were able to get the statue.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the statue yet, but I paid for it. Because I had I had to do a pre-order, I had a certain date to do it. I think it was like a $200. So when I get that statue, I'll be one of those people that got the statue with the NFT.
Yeah,
can't wait to get it. And I got her at I think a number 42.
Damn!
Got her cheap drop day. I paid like 1.2K.
Oh my god, nice!
I think I was in Vegas, in fact. When that dropped.
Yeah, you were. I remember we had a conversation on because you were sending me pictures from the poker table because you were trying to get the Vivi drop while you were at the poker table. Sorry guys, gotta sit this one out. Give me the buy button.
I'm doing the drop. They're like, "What are you doing?" And the dealer's like, I'm sorry, you have to bring the phone over. I'm like, no, I understand. It's a drop. You don't get it. I got 3, 2. Don't worry about it. No, but sir, no. Chips are going all over the place. No, but I really did a drop at the table. Sure, I got, man.
Yeah, no, I know. You told me about it.
I had to. The tournament started at 11 o'clock. It was 11 o'clock drop. I'm like, the hell's going on? Oh, man, R2. Dude, listen.
Did you get in there?
When we had our first, you invited me on the first live stream in September, bro.
Yeah.
I had at that point I missed the Sandbox and the Decentraland. Mm-hmm. The first one's out before it was like not really like affordable at that point. I could have still got in, but it would have been ridiculous, the secondary prices. But Earth 2 was already in effect, and I had looked into it. But you were looking at Earth 2, you're checking out, you're talking about the building, you're talking about accessories, you're talking about different statues and shit. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like, I looked, I wasn't late to the game. There was still a lot of opportunity there. Now I look back, shit.
I mean, so they come out with new countries, like, because not all of the countries were released. So every now and then they come out with like American Samoa, they come out with like Aruba, they come out with a random country, which you can buy at like 10 cents per tile. A lot of countries are like several dollars per tile. So you get them at 10 cents, make a lot of money. And their crypto, I have 30,000 of their crypto called Essence that you can only get if you have tier 1 tiles and if you have mentors, and you basically collect ether and you can turn it into Essence. It is not available for public sale yet, but they did just acquire a guy from Binance like over the last 2 months. So most likely they will get a Binance listing over the next couple of months. And
what? Essence?
Yeah, Essence is their crypto that they use in game, and they have a max supply of 5 billion Essence. And I'm very, very bullish on it. So
that's low.
Yeah, so if let's we had 750 billion, if we take 10% of that, that would be 75 billion, and 1% of that would be 7.5 billion. So if I were to have 1% of my OMI holdings, I'd have 1.3 million OMI, which is again is a ton. Now obviously I don't have 1.3 million, Essence. I only have 30,000 Essence, but I have another $6,000 in that app. It's ready to go. It's ready to go for Essence.
Yeah, but how much is it going to be is the question.
It depends. I mean, most likely it'll start out anywhere. It's so hard because
think about market cap for a minute. That's all. Do you think it's a $500 million?
Well, the max circulating supply is 5 billion, but we don't have that yet. And a lot of Essence has been burned already, trying to get mentors and trying to get these jewels and to craft them. So even let's say $500 million. That's what, 10 cents?
Yep.
Or so 10 cents, which is not bad. I would say at the end of the day. Oh no, I'm sorry. 5 billion. Yeah, it'd be $500 million. Would be 10 cents. So I think $1 billion company is very, very reasonable. Almost right away. And again, just because it already has gameplay, it already has a lot of land sold, it right now is ahead of Akomi as far as the metaverse is concerned. They already have the drone video game that they had bought. They're releasing that for free soon. So I think and
so you're saying it's a is it layer 2?
It is on the Polygon network. It's on Matic. So
it's not an ETH coin?
No, it's on Polygon. So it is. I'm not sure exactly if they have a layer 2 on there.
It's like Cardano. It's really one layer.
Yeah, but it is. What is OMI market cap? Is that like it's over $1 billion? It's not.
No. Well, now we're there now, but we have it's deflationary Earth?
Yeah. Yes. Essence and OMI both.
How's the burn? Is the same rate? Is it dollar to dollar? Like, is it that kind of burn?
No, like because it's not available for sale. The only way you can get it, and a lot of people have gotten several 100,000 OMI, but people have also burned hundreds of thousands of OMI by taking these jewels and crafting them and making them into other jewels. it's a machine building game where the more land you have, the more mentors you can get. The mentors, they do go and they detect ether, which you turn into essence, and the essence you could use to create these jewels, to build up your properties, to collect more ether or more essence. And it's a machine.
Where's the tokenomics in the sense of
their white paper?
What are you buying? What's the purchased item?
They just released a like 30-page or 38-page white paper. I haven't gone too much into it yet, but for the most part, is that the essence is just it's basically the in-game economy. Like that is the currency they use for in-game, and you could use that to develop your property.
It's nothing more. It's nothing more than OMI in being
it's only in the Vivi
as a utility in
Vivi. Yeah, pretty much.
But so I'm trying to figure this out. I'm figuring if Binance puts it out at like 5 cents or 10 cents, is it I mean, OMI right now isn't even $1 billion right now.
Oh, really? It went down that low.
What about it? Let's just say we're not even 4/10 of a penny.
Yeah.
And at like 600 and I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Is it going off? It's going off of circulating, so it's only like it probably only got like maybe 600. Maybe we're probably like 700 million.
Yeah, we have if we're at 248 billion, let's say circulating supply right now because lack of token unlocks, we'd be at 0.0039. We'd be at 967 million.
Yeah,
which is short. That's so nuts that
No, I'm saying we're still short. We're still short a bill, but nonetheless, you're talking about Earth 2 coming in at 20 cents at the 5 bill being a bill.
Yeah,
maybe a bill right out the gate at 20 cents.
I mean, I think it's because again, we have that is the largest metaverse. It's the only metaverse that's a 1-to-1 map of Earth. They partner with Mapbox to do it, and it's they've been making some crazy big gains and acquires the last couple of months. So it's very bullish on it. Yeah.
What now? How much actual like money? Is it like Decentraland where you buy tiles?
Yes. Yeah, you do.
I mean, in the sense of the rate.
Oh, the rate, like whether it's America, Canada, Australia, or the ocean, every single tile or parcel of land started at 10 cents per tile. Now I got in, and they started in November of 2020. I got in mid-December. I was buying land in India and Brazil for 11 cents per tile. Now it's like multiple dollars per tile now. And I was going in, and people were buying. I was buying land in America at like $2-3 a tile. It's like $60 a tile now.
How much square footage of land do you get for a tile? Is it all equal?
Yeah, it's all equal. You get like 10 by 10 meter. You get like it's not a crazy amount of land that you get, but you get like on one plot of like you could build a small house on one little teeny tiny tile, but most likely. Maybe you can't even do that. No, because I think you can only do like a bus or something. Let's say you need like nine tiles, so like a 3x3 to build a small house, which would have cost you 90 cents. So people that were buying back then. Obviously now it's like $60 per tile. In America, or at least for class 1 it was. They had reset everything where from November of 2020 through I think November of 2021, you could buy tier 1 land, and after that they reset everything so that every single piece of land you bought from Earth 2 after that was tier 2 land, but the price had gone back down to 10 cents a tile.
Wow.
So there's 2 sets of land there. There's tier 1 and there's tier 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say it's too late for. I don't ever say that. I got to look into it a little. I always say I got to look into it. I do look into it. And I'm like, it's just I don't want. It's what it is when I go on it. It doesn't. It's like it doesn't like invite me. Is what I'm saying. It doesn't have that kind of like appeal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about it. I just don't have. I'm not looking to like.
There's no licenses I don't think I mean, the only thing that they almost had a partnership with Drone, they just bought them outright.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
I'm not looking for, like a rub and tug. I'm just saying, like, I just look at it like I get in it and it just doesn't have that like appeal for me to say, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Let me put $2,000 in. Let me put 10 grand in, or let me do 15,000, or let me put $2,000, $5,000 or something. It just doesn't, I'm not like drawn into it. And every time I go in, I look, there's a lot of stuff going on too when I go look in there. It's like a lot of, I don't want to say it's not user friendly. It just has a lot of moving parts. And I almost don't know where it's like, I don't know where to start here. You got to log in, you sign up, then you go here, and then you got to buy different stuff. That's one thing I say about Vivi, like, for like the newbie, you really don't have to do nothing, but you download the app and it's kind of like self-explanatory. It's very general. However, it's very specific and it's easy. And there's limitations. It's like just limited to marketplace, the store, your collection, your profile, and that's it. It's not like 100 different methods to go through, and it's kind of easy getting to the end game, Yeah. But you see
I feel you. And it takes a little while to get used to, because you have the amounts of, like I said, there's a learning curve to it. You can't just go in and set it. I mean, I guess you can just buy the land and eventually you could just resell it, set it and forget it. But if you want to get a lot of
what are you looking to do with it? Like, what's your ultimate like
plan? I don't. It depends what it does. I mean, the 30,000 essence that I have, or 33,000 essence, whatever. At some point, I mean, if that becomes a $5 billion company, like just the crypto itself, which is a little bit separate, I think, from the company, it's a $5 billion market cap, which isn't huge. I mean, it is, but it's not like a $100 billion market cap.
No, it ain't like Engine Coin or Sandbox and shit. It ain't like that heavy. But I mean, but you're talking 5 billion, like you're talking dollar.
Yeah. I mean, so even at 10 cents, at just a couple thousand, I'm not going to liquidate all that essence at 10 cents just to get $3,000. That's not really worth it.
No.
But I do have land there that is worth about like $20-something thousand as well. I have $6,000 in the like in there just from referral code income, just from people buying some of my land as well. But my hopefully would be to get. I have a Chavez Topia that's a mega city in Antarctica, and the hope would be to just go and create shops there, rent out the land, and that pretty much the same what I plan to do in the Viviverse, minus some of the NFTs.
Bro, you're a machine. 3.5 hours, bro.
It's been a good time.
As always,
thanks for coming for this one. It's I know Friday night you probably had a little bit of other things that you may or may not have wanted to do.
Friday?
Yeah, it's a Friday night. And thank you guys for over 100 likes. That means the world.
What's tomorrow?
Oh, today's Saturday, isn't it? Oh.
I was hoping it was Friday. I'm like, well, if he says tomorrow's Saturday, bro, I'm like, hell yeah, I got a free day up in here, bro. I'm like,
yeah, you're right.
Let me get some. Let me do. Where's Dino? Get some shots again, bro. I'm ready to go round 2. Ding ding.
Everyone's laughing at me. So I forgot what day it was. Yeah. I have so many other people that I've been trying to get back to. Apologies if I didn't get back to your message again, double and triple message me, because every now and then I'll go to like open up something online, and like I'll just show you right now. If I go and I'm on docs.google. If I go to try to hit something up there, like you see that message that just came up, I would hit that message and I would forget what I was doing. So I'd have to X out of that message and then go to what I was talking about. But I get messages every 20 seconds.
Yeah, you don't have to do that with an iPhone. So get rid of the Android and come along, bro.
I can't
become an Android with an iPhone. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe I'll get a separate phone for that. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for this. This is great. Always good.
Thank you, always, as always, man. I enjoy it, and thank you for the invite, and thank you for we always go through some great combos. And there's more to come. You know,
Yeah.
I know we obviously are in different segments. Every time we have a stream, we're in a different segment of the growth.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's on the high, sometimes it's on the low, but you know, we got
I'm just gonna leave this on here. Let you guys know how many messages I get every minute of every day.
What's that? The token burn? What is it? What does it say?
Well, that's the token burn that the web page I'm looking at. I was just showing everyone how many messages I get every single minute of every day and why I can't get back to people right away. The token burn, yeah, we've spent about $856,000 today on the app. We burned 309 million OMI today. It was pretty nice.
And that was just basically off of like a humanitarian drop.
Yeah. Which drop are you going to stack any tomorrow? Are you going to try to get low mints of like Woody or Lightning McQueen or anything like that?
The Toy Story drop?
Yeah, there's the house from Up. You got the Lightning McQueen car. You got Mike Wazowski, the guy from Monsters Inc. You got Woody. Yeah, which ones are you looking for?
Hold on one second. Let me just tap.
Sure.
So, I didn't see that.
Oh my God! So this guy robs stuff somehow. I don't know if this is how he's doing this. I guess so. I guess he's got the Aston Martin in front of his computer, and he put us like kind of on the dashboard in the Aston Martin.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm actually I'm going to participate in the drop for the drop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm probably just going to go for one of the 5 that are there. I'm not going to say which one, but it's going to be more like I did today, where it's going to be just a from a collecting standpoint, not necessarily any kind of a like flip option.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to collect a set. It's just one I'm going to collect for one particular reason. I'm not going to say why. I didn't actually see all 5 that were there. I only saw 2. So, other than that, meow.
Yes, my kitty, my good baby. This is Sweet Pea. So for me, I told people that the announcement would probably come after the web app. Now we've already had some people have MTL, and we already had Bitmart the exchanges. So MTL exchanges, I think the web app will develop next, and then I think we'll have the Pokemon announcement after the web app. I don't think we'll actually get the Pokemon NFTs until well after we get OMI to NFT, OMI to land, and Viviverse, and I would even say localization. They probably wouldn't do. So what about you? Would you want Pokemon before or after other exchanges?
Oh, definitely. Look, obviously it's a matter of when, not if. So I'm grateful for getting it whenever. If I had a chance to say what I would rather have, I mean, on one end, I want exchanges as soon as possible, because it doesn't matter what NFTs that we have that we're being offered. The exchange is more for the OMI. I mean, Pokemon is Pokemon, and so is more drops from comics, and so is more Marvel drops, and so is more everything else. So it's not necessarily more of the NFT or type of NFT, even though Pokemon's huge. But I mean, I kind of want the exchanges in place, because I'd rather have, like, if I'm walking into a casino, or say I owned a casino.
Yeah.
I owned a casino and I knew there was 1 billion people that are on their way in. I need 1 billion tables first before I can get all these billion people in.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have clog ups. I want to have like, if I have all my tables with all my clients and they're all playing blackjack and I have it all, I feel good because now I have the infrastructure to handle it. The exchange, when I'm bringing people in on the app because of Pokemon, they're not gonna learn about OMI. They're gonna learn about this freaking NFT, and then they're gonna say, oh, you got OMI? Oh, what's that? But they're not gonna have the exchanges. In some countries, they're gonna have Pokemon, but then not have the capability of buying OMI. Sometimes that discourages. I'd rather have the exchanges and having them open up to the option of having OMI before they even come onto the app because of Pokemon. Because then they'll say, oh shit, wait a minute, I can invent. Oh my God, this is going to be an absolutely fantastic opportunity to invest. Oh, how can I? Oh, they got it on XXXY exchange. Let's do it because they're in that part of the world. So that's my take on it. I think we get. I think the exchanges are a little bit more backed up because of what's going on in our space right now in the world.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
I really believe that because this is a financial, movement. That's what exchanges are. It's about the finances. It's about getting the money right. It's about getting the coins right. It's about getting the technology because making sure they're, obviously it has to be an Ethereum, ERC20 has to be right. Everything's got to be right. And a lot of these exchanges don't have a lot of that interoperability and transferring, and they don't have the capacity sometimes to even handle volume, so this is a big item. I mean, in the scope. So, I don't know, whatever. I think we get exchange news before we get Pokemon. I think we get exchange news. I think we get all of that infrastructure set up. And I almost say Pokemon news might come out, but I don't think we get a Pokemon drop until we get Viviverse. I think Viviverse, I think, and Pokemon are kind of like, because I think Pokemon brings gamification. And that's what I'm looking at. I don't look at Pokemon just being like, Charizard and Mewtwo, like NFTs. Yeah, I'm looking at that too, but I'm looking more of the utility and the long-term gamification of how Pokemon and Pokemon Go is going to really create this movement of acceptance and this movement of that value. We'll easily go over 2-3 cents with that stuff. I'm not worried about that. That's not even a question because I know it. But who cares about Pokemon drops and having more? Well, it's just more junk in our inventory. Who cares about having more posters and more tickets and more stamps? And I got NFTs. Okay, yeah, I got a collection. And every week there's a new Pokemon drop because there's so many characters. I want to have it where in Viviverse there's an actual Pokemon trading venue where people can enter to trade their Pokemon NFTs. Like they trade Pokemon and they battle. They do Pokemon battles. When you go to Comic-Con, when you come to New York, you're in Comic-Con, you're across the table and they're playing Pokemon.
I know.
They're bringing your cards. We're strangers. So why can't we have that kind of utility in Viviverse? That's what I'm talking about. I think that stuff has to come. I think the Pokemon news is going to be great. And then maybe they'll just describe what's coming. But I don't think we actually have the utility of using the Pokemon. Maybe we'll have NFTs dropped, but like the big movement of like the gamification part of Pokemon, I think is where the money's at. And dude, it's multi-billions of dollars, bro. If they can make multi-billions of dollars off Pokemon the way they're doing it, can you imagine involved with Vivi? And Vivi needs the infrastructure. They're already losing people. They lost, what's his name? They gotta hire people. You gotta incentivize these people to not only stay, develop, move, work, learn the system. There's a lot of work that has to happen, bro. We want a lot, but we're asking a lot for Vivi because it's a lot of stuff, bro. And they have to get it right. They only have one shot. It's not like you can go through. You can't go. It's like an MTL. You can only do beta so long. You can't. You know what I mean? Once you have it all covered, and you're like, all right, we're gonna release it. Let's go. You're still taking a chance because shit might not happen. You know. So, but
yeah, I remember back in the day, Toys R Us being one of those people battling with Pokemon cards. Hey, one more victory, I get my badge, and
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not even saying that that's something that it has to be governed in Vivi. Vivi can be another interoperable, like you were talking. Pokemon could have its own Pokeverse outside of Vivi, but if they go hand in hand, where it's like exclusive NFTs that are in Vivi that you buy, you use in you know, they can incentivize it for Pokemon's gains too. It doesn't have to be like, you know, Pokemon is hand shackled to Vivi's infrastructure. It doesn't mean that. It's just saying that, you know, it's just another an outlet. But so bro,
thank you so much for coming on.
Yo, man, we only got a couple more, another month or so, man, a month away.
I can't wait to see you on the 15th of April. It'll be great. Mulcahy's.
We're there, bro.
Yeah, it'll be good times. Thank you for coming on, everyone.
Thank you again, bro. Thanks. Take care, everybody.
Peace, everybody. I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Wow. Oh, where's the end broadcast? All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for all the super chats. Goodbye. Okay, where am I going?